What's good, everybody? Welcome to another edition of Friday Night Sports Talk. And I'm here, of course, with one of my best friends in the whole wide world, Mr. Socrates Palmer Jr. And we have a special guest today. We have Boxing Manager Ricardo Figueroa. How are you guys doing today?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. So, every week we come here, we talk sports, we do a little boxing, we do a little bit of sports, and sometimes we have a special guest. And today, Ricardo, you are our special guest. So if you want to just give us a little, a little bio, a little background of you, we can kick this off and let people know, a little bit about yourself.
Sure. My name is Ricardo Figueroa. I live in the Bronx. I've been managing boxing for 20 years now. It started, kind of landed on my lap those years ago. There was a promoter by the name of Samu Sumichi that was doing shows. I don't know if you guys remember a place called Jimmy's Bronx Cafe.
Yes.
They used to do boxing there. It was a small venue. They used to do some local boxing there. And one day, Mr. Sumichi approached me and he asked me to deliver some contracts to a couple of guys that he wanted to sign out in Puerto Rico. I was actually on my way to the island of going on a nice little family vacation, and he gave me these two contracts, and I started reading through them, and I said, I'm from Puerto Rico, and I'm going back to the island to spend some time with my family over there, and I was like, well, I could deliver these contracts, but I find it, a little odd just to give these contracts to this young man in Puerto Rico, and then they'll never see me again. I didn't feel comfortable. And he asked me, he said, hey, listen, if any of them sign, would you consider managing? And I said, you know what, if one of them does sign or both of them, then yeah, I would consider that, and that's actually what happened. So my first boxer's name was Jose Rolon, really good amateur standout from Puerto Rico. He actually used to have really good battles with Juan Manuel Lopez when they were younger amateurs. And he was 2-0. I signed the kid, and it started out, everything sounded really well, really good. And his first fight was coming up with a young man. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about, Socrates. Harry Keith used to train and manage him, a kid from Brooklyn, from Gleason's gym. His name was Michael Agard. The kid was 0-1. Mm-hmm. So my first experience as a manager, I sold all these tickets, again, fighters from Puerto Rico. We had all these people there, flags, and fight started out great, and the kid started wearing out. And Michael Agard came back, and he took the fight. And that was my very first taste of actually managing in the sport at its finest. The promoter went from 0 to 100, turning on the fighter, as if, the kid lost and it was, on purpose or something. And the kid was upset, crying and everything. And I'm like, dude, you just fought your heart out, man. There's, you're going to go to the locker room. You're going to take a shower. And, as I said, Jimmy's Bronx Cafe was like a bar restaurant kind of place. I said, you're going to eat the biggest lobster in this place. You're not going to keep your head down over something like this. And I knew then that this was my calling, to manage fighters and help them, guide them through this rough sport, not only in the ring, but the tough part that it is outside of the ring, which is to get the proper fights and to get the proper purses and deals for their labor in the ring, because, it's a dangerous sport, and they deserve to get paid, and paid well for what they do.
I mean, since we've been doing this show, you always say a special guest, but in reality, but you're probably, just from a personal standpoint, the specialist guest that we've had on this show, because there's no one that I've come across that's more honest and sincere in terms of their role in the sport, like Ricardo. And I've known Ricardo, like I said, probably time flies. We're in 2024. I met Rick. I didn't have any kids, so it was like 2024. 2004, at least. So about 20 years, about the same span that he's been working as a manager. And you talk about somebody who's humble, doesn't have an ego, is Ricardo Figueroa. you have, I mean, fast forward to the present, you have a big fight at the Garden, February 16th. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, fast forward, as I mentioned, 20 years down the road, just working, and so what happened after that? I went back into the game, just to elaborate a little bit more how I get to this point. So that night, I happened to, even though my fighter lost, there happened to be a fighter in the crowd that was really a good young fighter, also from the island, who happened to be the first guy to ever put the Prince Nassim down. I wasn't managing him at the time. His name is Daniel Alicea. May God rest his soul. He was a great fighter from Cantera, Santurce, Puerto Rico. I happened to be a friend and fan of his. And something happened that night where he approached me and he says, Rick, he had lost to Nate Campbell on a big fight on ESPN. And he says, I'm going to make this comeback and you're going to manage me. And I was taken back. I said, listen, Pipino, I don't have that experience. As you can see, this is my first fighter. He's like, no. I said, there's something in you that I see that you're the guy that's going to help me do this comeback. And it's going to be something special. And, I said, you know what, if this is God's will and he wants me to manage him, by all means, I'll take on the task. And I learned again how rough the game is. I started calling everybody. I have this great fighter. He's making a comeback. And all the promoters wanted to do was just use him as a stepping stone for the young, up and coming fighters. I was like, this guy needs a chance. He just got knocked out. Let's see what he has before we put him in there. And again, I learned how the sport works. And so I started calling some local promoters. Peter Rivera at the time was a big promoter in Puerto Rico. He dealt with Top Rank. He dealt with Cotto and Juan Manuel Lopez and stuff like that. So I called him up. I said, hey, I have this guy that, he's making a comeback. I was wondering if you guys can, help me facilitate this. And they said, listen, if you pay for the fight, we'll give you the slot, et cetera, et cetera. We can make it happen. So I took on the task. I got him a decent opponent on the island, to test him. And we put him in the ring, man, and he looked sharp. Socrates, as you know, Coach Ramirez from Bronx Boxing Club took him under the wing for this comeback. And that year we fought Golo Gomez. We were 2005 comeback fighter of the year in Puerto Rico. He had round of the year. So that was a good taste of what the sport can be if you do it right. So that was my moment, to realize, hey, I can do this. And I felt that, I can actually help these fighters take it to the next level as well. So fast forward to today, I started working with the youth in Puerto Rico. I have a good friend of mine, Emilio Lozada, whom I met through another fighter that I once managed. And it's become a really, really popular gym in Puerto Rico. I don't know if you guys have seen it. It's Monterrey Boxing Academy. They have all these murals of Tito Trinidad, Miguel Cotto. It's become a really, really promising place because of the background of the story. The gym used to be basically was an abandoned Head Start. Junkies used to go there to do drugs, etc. And what the community did, they rallied around Emilio and our team, and we cleaned the place out. And what we call is, in our island, they call it invadir. So when something's abandoned, it's just not being used properly. If you can come up with a concept and an idea that, that maybe the government feels that, hey, this can work. And that's what we did. So basically, they popped the pads and the locks and they opened the gym up, painted it up. And the government said, it's all yours, guys, help the community. And fast forward, like I said, now we have 50, 60 kids coming in there daily for some time now. And one of those kids back in those days, his name is Bryan Chevalier, who I'm happy to be proud of managing him. He's 20-1 with 1 draw with 16 knockouts. He's ranked number 4 in the world by the WBO, and he's defending his intercontinental title this February 16th at Madison Square Garden.
Nice. We're hoping. Well, I think I'm going to be there. Soccer's going to be there as well. But he's an exciting fighter. Like he comes to fight. I think his last few fights very exciting. Like he's there to get you out of there. I mean, that is that just like his mentality, like to go in and just stop guys? Like, I mean, he's going in there to just eliminate you.
Well, Chevalier is a special fighter, and what I mean special is he has that dog in him. He doesn't look like the most intimidating guy. He doesn't have the most muscles. He is the underdog, and that's kind of like how sometimes, right? If you look at life, how boxing is, right? You're fighting; it's a battle of life, and when you're the underdog, very few people give you a chance, and in this boxing game, if you don't look like you're the biggest guy, and you don't have these attributes, right? What we call these natural attributes, you already naturally become the underdog. You're like, you're gonna fight this guy, and this little guy can do some damage. So what Chevalier brings to the game is he's very disciplined, 100%, since he's been a young man, very, very disciplined. And he doesn't take no for an answer. Again, that underdog mentality. You gotta take it from him. He's gonna box you. He's gonna work the body. He'll just be there. And before you know it, like you said, he's gonna take you. He's the 16 knockouts are real. He's a dog in there.
And he's fighting a Mexican guy, kind of an unknown. I don't really know this guy, Cortes. But the guy is the favorite. He's a 4-1 favorite when I looked at it, which I found kind of shocking. I thought the odds should be a little bit closer, especially fighting in the Garden. I think there's a few Puerto Rican fighters on the card, so I think the fan base would be pro Puerto Rico in the fans. So I'm pretty shocked by the spread. Well, not the spread, the odds of the fight.
Right. Well, you also have to go with who promotes the fighters, right? So you have the big dogs in the game, you have the Top Ranks, you have the Matchrooms. Kudos to Miguel Cotto. Miguel Cotto, a lot of people do not realize, he's a quiet man. He doesn't seem, like a Tito Trinidad that's so energetic around the people. But I will tell you this much: what he's doing for the sport of boxing in Puerto Rico, very few people are doing. Once he hung up his gloves, he put this promotional company together, and they really help the youth in Puerto Rico. Right now, they're the leading promoters in Puerto Rico, along with Universal Promotion with Javier Bustillo, who's also a very good friend of mine, who I have fighters under his banner as well. But again, when you're not tied, associated to the big names, then if you're not people aren't as familiar with your guy, then it just happens. So basically, this kid Cortes, he's been fighting for Top Rank for a little bit now. He's made a little name for himself. It's funny because months ago, this is back to boxing, guys. Months ago, his brother reached out to me, and he says, "Hey, you be interested in having your guy fight my guy?" So I looked him up, and I said, "Well, my guy right now, he holds a title. At the time, we were at 126 pounds. No, we were already at 130. I said we won 2 titles at 126, and we ranked really high. Why would I have my guy fight your guy?" And of course, you get the classic, "Oh, you're scared," I said, "Listen, man, boxing is also a business." I said, "What would make you think that I would take my guy who's from Puerto Rico, bring him into Las Vegas to fight your guy on the B side for the money he was talking about, peanuts, $25,000, $30,000, not peanuts, don't misunderstand me. I mean, for the magnitude of the fight." And I'm like, my guy is not the B side here. Your guy would be the B side. If this fight ever happens, and quote me, I said, if this fight ever happens, your guy would have to earn the spot, and your guy would be the B side, and it would be for much more money than that. And fast forward, so when Xander was removed from the card, they called me up, Coda Promotions. We've been trying to fight Emmanuel Navarrete for a very long time. We've been following him, by the way. A lot of people never give us a chance, but again, this is boxing. Navarrete got his chance, and he beat Dog Boy. So, boxing, you never know who's going to be the man. So that's, Navarrete got his shot, and he made the best of it, and kudos to him. But we always felt that we have a chance. We have a chance against him, and we've been trying to fight him for a while, and we're doing our job. We're fighting for the regional belts. We keep climbing up in the rankings. In this case, right now, again, we're at number 4 in the world. And we're ready to take this guy Cortez on the 16th, and we're gonna take him out, and we're gonna get that title shot after that, Lord willing.
And that's what I think, because he's the co-main event. So you figure, a win, he'd get maybe the winner of the main event, which is Foster and
could possibly be. But again, we're ranked really high in the WBO, and I know that Oscar Valdez now is fighting Liam Wilson.
Yes.
And so we're kind of angling towards that. So I'm not gonna say it's etched in stone, but the winner of these two fights, if Navarrete decides, which you've seen that he's promoting to fight at 135, then we would fight for the interim if he's at 35, and if he decides to come down, we'll fight him, and if not, then we'll become the champs at 130.
I'm kind of shocked at that. Not to switch gears, but Navarrete has been in. They've been talking about maybe him and supposedly Shakur, right, moving up to 135, and Shakur with the announcement of retirement. But Navarrete's last fight, was a draw, and he fought the kid, the guy from Brazil. He didn't look, he didn't look like Navarrete. Like, he didn't look great. He got outboxed for at least half the fight. I thought it was a legit draw. And more than half the fight, because I think the other guy won more rounds. I think he got the knockdowns. What, he got 2 knockdowns that fight?
Yeah.
And now moving up in weight, wanting to fight a guy like Shakur that box circles around Conceição. I can't say his name, the guy from Brazil. So that's
Robson Conceição.
Conceição, yeah. I just know something like that. He's from Brazil.
Yeah.
Who also fought Valdez, who I thought beat Valdez.
That is correct.
They gave the fight to Valdez.
That's correct.
That's pretty interesting that he would want to move up.
Yeah.
Take that challenge, but.
Well, like I said, especially with Navarrete, if you look at his trajectory, again, he's hot, cold sometimes. Even that Wilson fight, I don't know if you got to see that the Wilson fight. He put Navarrete down with a body shot.
Yeah.
And like I said, there's certain vulnerabilities that we see there, and me as a manager and with my team, and I've always felt very confident again. And I'll be honest with you again, fans are, even your own fans, they're the toughest critics. If you have not made it to the top, they're gonna doubt you. And that's boxing, and we feed off of that. Again, Chevalier, when we fought Luis Lebron, he was a rising star at 126 pounds. And back to what I was saying about physiques, man, when this guy squared up for that weigh-in, I had friends come over, and every time it was funny because I would show people the face-off in the pictures, and they go, "You guys fighting that guy?" And I said, "Yeah, he's fighting that guy." I said, "This is boxing. Don't let the muscles fool you. Skinny guy is gonna do his thing," and that was his moment, and he shined. He outboxed that guy. We beat him 10-0, and he was the underdog by far, and he didn't lose one round. So Shadi has his tools. He can box, he can punch. He's a banger. Like I said, he's a dog. So you're gonna see in him, you're gonna see a live guy in there at all times. And don't be surprised any moment the fight could end with a good shot, because he has that power as well.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
At 5'11", do you think this is probably the best weight for him? Like, that his body fills out well and he doesn't have to train himself?
Again, Chevalier, he's very disciplined. We've never, ever had an issue with the weight, even at 26. We just knew, again, he started at 26, but like you mentioned, he's a real 5'11". Like, literally, I'm 5'11". He's like taller than me, so he's actually like 6 feet for sure. This kid is he's just long, lean, and he makes the weight, man. He just like the Chico Corrales type fighter that just, you're like, wow, that kid really makes that weight, and he doesn't struggle. Like, right now he's already very close to doing it without even trying much. He's eating well, he's training hard, and he's a few pounds away. He's a few pounds away.
Nice. That's awesome. So besides Shadi, any other fighters you have? I know you have another fighter fighting the next day, correct, in Puerto Rico?
I have 3 guys fighting the next day.
Okay.
So we get on a plane, and we have one of my young kids from Naranjito, Puerto Rico, Abner Figueroa. He's one of my young guys who just, again, proved that he's worthy of going to his town and headlining with only 4 fights. The Coda promotions were very impressed with his last fight in San Juan, and he looked really well. My welterweight, Jose Roman, who's been a little inactive, I'm making a comeback with him. He's 14-1 with 6 KOs. He's also 6'3", 147-pounder. He only has one loss. He lost to Cesar Francis. We lost at the Barclays Center with him. It was a tough fight. About 2 years ago, we had a fight with Cesar Francis, and he lost by decision. But he's making a good comeback. And as far as the fighters, I mean, during COVID, I can tell you, which was a very dark moment in life for everyone as well. But the boxing community, you know, we were really affected because it's a contact sport, especially in Puerto Rico. We closed first and we opened last. You know, remember they had the bubbles and everything in Vegas. And that was hard. You know, you have people, these young men, they're trying to live, they're trying to, you know, feed their families, and boxing is their life. And it was hard to keep them on hold. Back to management decisions, you know, I would tell them, guys, we just have to stay on standby. We've worked so hard to get your career to this point. To go to Las Vegas in this bubble, which the Top Rank had created, is suicide, man. If you go in there, if you're not knocking somebody out, you know, there's just no way that this is meant for us to go in there and win. You know, boxing, people always say boxing is rigged, right? We as boxing fans, as boxing people, we defend that from people that don't understand the boxing game. And I always try to explain it like this. If I'm a promoter and I'm doing shows and I'm giving work to the judges, to the referees, I'm constantly basically feeding everybody, right? Because I have a show every other month or every 2 months, whatever the case is. There's gonna be a certain bias mentality, and what I mean by that is if you, hey, how you doing? We got another show. Here are the fighters, and the fight goes on. There's just a certain party that's going to lean towards the promoter's fighter, because that's why he's the house fighter. The promoter's the one putting the events together. And as simple as that is, if you start judging against the promoter consistently, you're going to be out of a job. That's just reality. You know, so they don't have to come with an envelope like people always picture. Here, you pay the guy off. You don't have to. You accommodate the judges. You treat them well. You even tell them, hey, bring your wife. You know, it's a sport, but it's a business. And that's what I try to explain to people. When you're in the game and you go in there at the B side, you really have to really win these rounds. Anything close, and again, sometimes it seems unfair, but how unfair is it? You know what I mean? This is the game. If the promoters putting the shows together, then these judges, you know, naturally are going to lean towards their guys. So sometimes, you know, we sit there and say, oh, boxing it's a business as well. And people don't understand that, you know. So I defend that part because, you know, everybody right away, oh, it's rigged. Everything is rigged. It's not rigged. You know what I mean? You have a fight. If it's close, it's going to go to the house fighter. That's just the way it is. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the, you know, the overall, what people think. The house fighter, you know, a few months ago, Sock works with a guy. He fought a guy, even though it was in his hometown here in New York.
He was a New Yorker.
He's a New Yorker, and he had this Irish guy come in, and he was the house fighter, and it was a good fight. But the house fighter got the nod. The ref, who's usually a good ref, on point, made a lot of bad decisions in the fight.
Steve Willis, who's usually on point. He missed a few knockdowns, not knockdowns falling forward with the glove touching the floor. He missed them, and you know, changed the scoring of the fight, in my opinion. You know, so we see it in person. You know, so you know, the house fighter usually gets the advantages. We got a guy from the Bronx fighting tomorrow in Vegas. He's fighting Conor Ben and Peter Dobson.
Peter Dobson, known very well. Very well.
Okay.
I give him a dog's chance. People don't realize it. He has a better chance than people. Back to not knowing Conor Ben is a known name, but I don't want to throw shade at people, but he hasn't looked the same ever since he got in trouble there. So
yeah, because his last fight, I believe, was at 154, and he couldn't get the guy out of there, and that guy was really nothing special. And now they loaded. Now this fight is at 150. You know, Pete Dobson hasn't been in the ring. We had him on a couple weeks ago. We spoke with him, and he hasn't been in the ring since 2022. Now he's been active in the Total Combat League, right?
He was doing that in New York. He was Team New York.
Team New York. He got a few rounds there, not many, because it's 1 round fights. He said he had a fight overseas for like 4 rounders, like I guess an exhibition or something. So he said he's been active, but I know he said he's a gym guy. He's always in the gym working and stuff. So I don't know if the inactivity would be a factor, the inactivity, or what do you think? Like, as far as like, if a guy is always in the gym, does that help, or is it not the same as
It absolutely helps. Again, if you look at the top tier fighters, they fight once a year, sometimes even once every other year. When you're making that type of money, then and these fights have to develop. There's no excuse for them. They get in there and they do their job and they perform at the highest levels. Somebody like Peter, like I said, he's a very talented young man. People do not realize the type of career that Peter had. I don't know if you know who Cordell Booker is, but Peter Dobson knocked him out in the amateurs, and that's a big tough kid that's fighting, I believe, at 160 right now. So Peter, even in the amateurs, he was a dog then, and he's a dog now. He's a good friend of mine, and I wish him a lot of luck in this fight coming up.
Right, and that's the consensus that I'm hearing, that he's a dog. So.
He is.
And I hope he does well. He was very positive. The only thing I will say, I don't know, did you see the press conference?
Yeah, I saw the press conference.
Yeah. He looked a little bit nervous, but I think that's his first time probably being in TV, because this is his first real
big lights. But once the bell rings, and the heat, your body gets going, and you're fighting, it's just him and Ben in there. So I give him a chance there. And talking about fighters, I know I went a little off track when you were asking me about other boxers that I have. So, I went off a little bit with the COVID, because what happened was during that time, and Puerto Rico was closed, Miguel Cotto Promotion, and I really wanted to bring this up because sometimes, God works in mysterious ways all around. So Cotto Promotion decided to do some events in the Dominican Republic. And by doing so, I don't know if you're aware, I'm partners with Dave McWhorter, who happens to have Teofimo Lopez, Split T Boxing Management. They have top level fighters. He's like another Al Heyman type manager. He has big fighters, and he has a nice company. As my friend Joe Chiambo, who used to matchmake for the Bell Entertainment, he works for him. Ron Rizzo, who was the head of operations as well for the Bella. He works for him. So he's a management team, but with the promoter feel that he has people working under him, and they're very well, very good at talent scouting. So it so happens to be that during the COVID times, when Cotto started doing some shows in the Dominican Republic to keep the fighters busy, Dave approached me and he says, "Ricky, I have this kid that came out here. He was supposed to fight at the Nationals with the Dominican team. And unfortunately, they got here late. They weren't able to fight, but they saw him sparring. And the kid was knocking kids out in sparring. When I say knocking them out, I mean everybody was just taken back by this kid. And Dave signed them up. He signed them. I think he fought like twice under Sean Boxing in the Dominican Republic. So when Cotto comes along doing their shows, Dave says, "Rick, I need a slot. Maybe the Cottos will put an eye on him and see, let me know what they think." And they put him in there, and let me tell you, the kid wasn't even out the ring, and Miguel Cotto himself says, "Sign this kid. This kid is a special talent, and we need him on the roster." And just like that, they offered us a contract. We tweaked it a little bit. We came to a great agreement. And this kid is 10-0 with 10 knockouts, and he's the real deal. We took him out of DR on his 5th fight, and now he lives in DR, but he trains in Puerto Rico full time in my gym, Monterrey. Okay. And he's a special talent. So even during the COVID time, where we moved to DR to do these events, I believe that I found a gem in Jan Carlos Santana, and we're gonna have a future world champion him as well. Really
nice. At what weight class, Rick?
He's a featherweight.
Featherweight, okay.
126 pounds.
Definitely got to look out for him.
Yeah, if you right now, you look at even all the bloggers from DR, they have him as the most promising prospect over Rohan Polanco, over all these other prospects that they have. The name Jan Carlos Santana resonates right now in the Dominican Republic.
That's what's up, man. Definitely. Does he have an Instagram or something we could, maybe follow?
Jan Santana Guerrero. Jan Guerrero, Santana Guerrero.
Definitely gonna look into him.
Really good. 22 years old. Really humble young man, and I tell you, he's a pleasure to work with. Again, when it comes to the management end of this, people do not realize how close you and the fighters can actually get. Like all my fighters, as you know, we're Spanish, and we're brought up to ask for our blessings from our parents and older peers. And all my fighters ask for the blessings. They see me and it's Ricardo bendición. It's the days that they're not fighting that you create these what our motto is called champions of life. Okay. That's what our motto is. It's called campeones de la vida. And of course, we want to have world champions because it's a sport we're in. But more importantly, we want to create champions of life, and this is what fulfills us. As a manager, like I said, I've done this 20 years. And there's nothing more satisfying than seeing my fighters become the wonderful young men that they are. Like Chevalier, he's married. He's expecting his first son. We just found out he's going to have a boy. Roman, he's a father. He has a young boy as well. I have a young kid, Juan Zaya, is 118 pounds. He's 8-0, 8 knockouts. He knockout of the year. He just had it in December in Puerto Rico. Tremendous power, tremendous kid. He has that good-looking kid.
He's
smart.
fighting on the 17th because I thought I saw.
No, he fights March 30th.
Okay, I saw he had a fight.
He signed to Universal Promotions, and he fights under that banner. So he'll go in Puerto Rico in San Juan.
Yeah,
March
real good-looking kid. Real good looking. I follow him on the ground. A real good looking kid.
Yeah, that's my little. And he's a teacher. He has a bachelor's degree. He's a teacher. Nice. So he's the other side of. I tell him your place in boxing is also to spread the word that a lot of people, back to the concept that all fighters have to be these tough kids with hard upbringings. It's a sport, and then a guy like Juan gives it that look of, hey, you don't just have to do it. This is something you want to do as well. And he started with a program that they had in high school. It was either that or play basketball. And he says, let me try, boxing, self-defense. And he loved it, man. And he turned out to be a great young man, a great fighter. And to this day, like I said, he's 8-0 with 8 knockouts. Yeah. He's the FECA box champion for the WBC. And, he has a great upside as well.
Nice.
I have William Ortiz, my youngest young fighter right now. He's a stud. This kid right now, he's 20 years old. He's 5-0, 4 KOs. From Bayamon as well. This kid is tremendous. Again, 140 pounder. He's 6'2". I mean, tall, lean, and this kid here, he has that look. You know how sometimes when you see him, you're like, yeah, this guy's a fighter. He has that look, and he fights like that. He comes at you and he takes care of business.
How about Omar Rosario?
Omar Rosario. So Omar Rosario, I co-manage him with Split T. Omar Rosario is a tremendous talent as well. He was signed with Top Rank. Top Rank, again, being the world leader in boxing, they want a lot. So with the matching is always tough. And if you don't look what we call spectacular consistently with them, unfortunately, they don't think you have it, and they'll move on from you. So unfortunately, in this part of the game, you have to look super good. Otherwise, they're like, eh. But Omar, he lacked. Not that I say he lacks power, but he's more of a boxer, right?
Yeah, so no, exactly, yeah.
So sometimes, okay, if you're not this powerful puncher and you're not knocking people out, then people don't think. But it's called boxing, right? Yeah. You win round by round, and that's the name of the game. So Omar, they've always matched him very tough, and
that's what I was about to say. Yeah, he's been matched up against really good fighters, at least the last 3 fights.
Yeah, and he's won. And I'll be honest, that last fight, back to the game, I don't think they were too pleased with him. I feel he won that fight. I feel that even the commentating was kind of like based to make the other guy. You know what I mean? It's almost like it was an exit fight. Like I felt like it was all prepared for him to fail. Yeah. Unfortunately. I believe he won the fight, not because I manage him, but everybody that I know felt that they won the fight. But
I thought he won as well. And there's one person here that thought that well, and another guy that he had him on his show thought he won as well. It was a close fight. But he's been matched up against good competition. We was there last June for his fight. He fought the other Puerto Rican kid who was, I think, undefeated. I think he was undefeated at the time, maybe one loss. He was tough. And he outboxed him. So, I mean, he's a real good talent.
Yeah. So, right now we're free agents, of course, from promotional end, but he has a great management team behind him, and Omar's back in the ring February 24th under the Universal banner in Puerto Rico. So he's coming back hungrier than ever. And now we have a chip on the shoulder that we're going to prove that there was a mistake made there. You know what I mean? And we're going to keep coming.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's good. I hope it's a mistake that Top Rank regrets. They did the same thing with the Dominican guy that Freddie Roach used to train.
Elvis Rodriguez. That's a great example.
Right. So,
But that's back to the nature, guys. The promoters, they have the numbers, they have all the fighters, different managers. The manager and the fighter, that's who has to stick together, and that's what I've taken tremendous pride in. I had a fighter named Angel Suarez. You know who that is, Socrates? Angel Suarez. This kid was a tremendous amateur. He used to be the stiff competition for Felix Verdejo when Verdejo was in his prime in the amateur days. And they fought 3 times. Verdejo edged him out twice. We got 1 win out of that. It was to the point where either one of those was the one to represent Puerto Rico. Verdejo, obviously, we all know the story. He got the edge, and he moved on to the pros on the Top Rank. But Suarez was a bronze medalist in the 2012 Pan Am Games. He was a 7-time national champion. So I signed him to the Bell Entertainment, signing bonus and everything. And his first fight, BB Kings, same thing, nice crowd, everything was going good. My kid was winning every round. He got caught with an uppercut, man, and he got knocked out. Wow. And that's when you know who's with the fighter. The Bell at the time is like, oh, we're gonna, we'll stick it out, we'll be all right, we'll bring him back. A couple of days later, here's your pink slip, kid. Good luck.
Wow.
And of course, you just lost. The kid lost, his first loss. Pro debut and you lose, it's devastating, And so again, I'm left alone with my kid. I took him to Puerto Rico. We won a fight in PR. And then he fought again, another kid named William Garriga, who's not a tough kid. Not a bad fighter. He actually fought Richard Hitchinson and gave him a really good fight when Hitchinson was just up and coming. And we lost a split decision. And this is a case where I said, there's something wrong here. I said, you're too much of a talent to be 1 and 2, kid. Something's wrong. And my instinct was to say, wait a minute. This kid's been fighting since he's 7 years old, nonstop, almost 300 amateur fights. Now he's a pro. I said, you've never rested. You've never not boxed. So I said, I'm not stopping that. I'm not saying I'm not going to work with you anymore. What I'm saying is you need to take a break from boxing. I don't want you to go to the gym. I just want you to, and of course, boxing is short. I always tell all my fighters, you need to have a second career after boxing. We have to make a plan. Whatever it is you want to do after boxing, you want to align it while you box so you could have an exit strategy. So he started studying mechanics. He went to Mech Tech. So he went to school for a year, and the itch came back. And of course, without a promoter, you have to come on the B side. And I had a tremendous run with him. I brought him to New York. I beat we beat with him. We beat a kid from Long Island. He was undefeated at the time, Johnny Hernandez. What's the kid Socrates that won a bunch of Golden Gloves that he was in the film with Little B-Hop too? Was what's his name? I drew a blank on his name right now, but a really good amateur. He had like 6, 7 Golden Gloves. Beat him too.
Rosinski? No, Will Rosinski. No,
man, how can I forget his name, man? Let me look at him up because let me just check real quick. I'll tell you his name. But again, I brought him back. We did really well. He ended up losing a title fight with William Foster. William Foster, who just fought Moncho LeBron. With that kid, we ended up. So what I'm saying is, sometimes in boxing, you take a loss, and you just get back up and keep going. And the manager's job is to stick by these athletes. When they're down and out, the promoters tend to say, it's the end of the road here, kid. And that's where the difference between the manager is there, where you take it to heart and you pick them up and, you just keep moving. And you take it personal too. Again, they cut your fighter. I'm going to prove to you that my fighter is good, and you made a mistake by cutting him. So, he was a good example of that. Angel Suarez was. I won a lot of fights with that kid, even though he lost his professional debut. I'm going to tell you his name because you're going to know who he is. Really good fighter. Give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. Here we go. Wrong Suarez, yeah. Sorry about that, guys.
And you said he lost the close fight to Foster?
He lost his last fight to Foster, yeah.
Foster beat somebody good, if I'm not mistaken.
Foster beat us, De Los Santos.
De Los Santos, yeah, that's where he was. Okay. I know he had a good win over somebody.
Yeah, he beat De Los Santos.
Yeah.
Titus Williams.
Titus Williams.
He won six Golden Gloves. That kid won in New York. He's one of the big stars coming out of the amateurs. And when we beat Titus Williams, Crawford went to see Titus fight that day.
Wow.
And we were the B side, and there's nothing better than me in the B side in somebody else's hometown, man.
Yeah. Wow.
That was a good experience.
Yeah, that's a great feeling.
Yeah, but again, it's about these athletes. You have to love them as people.
Yeah.
Before anything, they are human beings like us. They just happen to pick a really rough road to earn a living, and the managing side is really important to me. As far as being honest with them, fighting for their equal pay, and making sure that they get what they deserve. Win, lose, or draw. You got to be there for them, and I'm very proud to be a manager for that reason.
So as a manager, you protect the fighter, and you're like an advisor as well. Like you give them advice as well, and lead them in what you feel is the right direction.
Completely everything, their life, I don't just manage the fight itself. The boxing part, I manage their life, and what I mean by that is, again, giving them good advice. Leading them in the right direction to become better men. Better men and women. That's basically what it comes down to.
Wow, that's awesome.
Wow. How has it been working with Split T, and how did that come about?
So, again, Rizzo and Joe Kiam were really good friends of mine, and they were on board with Dave McWhorter. We were talking at one point. Sometimes you have to make alliances to become stronger. Like in your case, right, guys? You find somebody that's really good at what you do, and you combine your skills, you combine your contacts. Again, McWhorter, I believe he has a good heart for the sport. And expanding into that territory of our islands, people don't realize it's hard to get in there. You can't just go in there and start signing fighters, and you have to have a reputation that people can trust. And that's where I come along. Like I said, I've been mainly working Puerto Rico and New York for these 20 years. And I'm hands-on, I'm well known with the promoters, well known with the commissions, keeping a good name, good reputation. So when Dave obviously signs the Omar Rosarios, I have him co-sign with William Ortiz, my other young fighter. I'm the guy that deals with the Latino side for them. I deal with the Hispanic fighters, again, just to give it that personal touch. We speak Spanish, and it's good to hear somebody that can speak your language, and you can understand, and you can feel each other. And also knowing, when you back to when I first started managing, this guy says, give this contract to this kid. I know exactly where I'm going. I'm going to an island. I'm going to the mountains. I know what I'm going to see. And I'm like, I'm not going to just have this kid sign his life away and then he's never going to see me again. I'm going to be by his side. And that's what it comes down to. You have to, almost a grassroots effect, right? You have to know your client. Yeah. So, that's where I come and play with Split T. They respect my work, that I've done over the years, and they offer me to work alongside them to co-manage fighters.
Okay, yeah, because I did some little research and I saw they have a whole bunch of fighters, and I know Teofimo is under that
Yep.
banner as well. I want to say Supernova is under that as well. Is he in there?
Nova, they have
No, yeah,
Nova, they have Teofimo, they have Tiger Johnson.
Michael Johnson's another
They
guy.
have we have a lot of fighters, close to
Yeah.
100 fighters actually.
Yeah,
Dave McWhorter has, but again, I specialize in the which I'm happy to
yeah,
do what I do, which is the Latino fighters.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. And then from what I hear, I know Chevalier comes. He's not from the good area of Puerto Rico. He comes from a bad area of Puerto Rico, from what I hear too. So,
Chevalier again,
yeah,
he's a classic. He's a classic underdog story, like I
yeah,
mentioned. His dad wasn't in his life, for reasons of obviously incarceration when he was a kid. Single mother, basically at the time, raising him in one of the worst caseríos in Puerto Rico, Barbosa. Really, really tough atmosphere, and he was that little tough kid. He used to play drug dealer and all that stuff. He's a kid. That's all you grow up,
yeah,
admiring. You look at the local drug dealer and you think that's the way of life, and that's what you're gonna be when you grow up. And this is why it's so important. People don't realize that just say boxers are just beating each other up. This sport really, really changes lives. It takes kids off the streets. It gives you another perspective. Like when you don't feel love, you don't have any, if you feel like nobody cares, and here you have a guy that's willing to pick you up in a van and take you boxing every weekend, and you eat pizza with the rest of the guys, and it becomes a real family. And we are, because like I said, these fighters, they don't just train together, but they love each other like brothers, and we're very close. Like I said, we have right now in Monterrey, we have about 10 pros plus all the young amateurs coming up. And it's just a big family. The sparring, the work, it's just it's an amazing atmosphere. It's an amazing atmosphere.
That's
And like I
awesome.
said, Chevalier is the promise from there, because he's exactly what we are. We're the underdogs.
Yeah.
Again, even in this fight, we're ranked number 4 in the world, but we're the underdog, and
Yeah.
we'll take it. We'll take it, because that's just what made us. And we rise to the occasion, and it's not going to be an exception on the 16th. They picked the wrong fight. Put it like that.
Yeah.
They picked the wrong fight.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
that'd be pretty. I'm gonna ask a dumb question. Does he speak any English?
Very little.
Very little.
Very little bit. Yeah.
I would love to have him and speak with him for a little bit.
Oh, well, I can definitely bring him on. If I even told Socrates, remember, just an hour difference from Puerto Rico right now.
Right.
And at this time, he's already getting his rest to get up and run around 4 a.m. But definitely, once we win this fight, we'd love to have him on your show. We can talk about other stuff.
Well, we'll be there in person. I mean, I'm sure you're gonna be. Are you gonna be there? Of
course,
in the building. Yeah. So, no, I know you said you got to get on a plane. I don't know how early you got to go with your flight, because you're gonna the next day.
Yeah, we're out the ring, and then we're leaving the next morning to Puerto Rico, and then we still stay out there because we have Omar fighting on the 24th, the following weekend.
Yeah.
So we'll stay out there. We'll enjoy the island for a few days, and and enjoy Omar's fight as well. He fights in Aguas Buenas.
Is that under the Cotto Promotions as well?
That's what Universal Promotion. That's with Bustillo.
And they're based
Cotto literally has the show of the 17th, the next day, where I have Roman fighting, and I have a kid turning pro, Mario Rodriguez, and like I mentioned, Abner Figueroa fight on that event.
And Universal is based out of PR.
Yeah, Universal Promotion. The promoter's name Javier Bustillo. He was the first promoter for Pedraza. Pedraza. Okay. So he was he's been around a long time. He had Pedraza. He had Phenomenal Cruz was his fighter. I don't know if you remember him, Orlando Cruz.
Yes,
he promoted him. So he's an established promoter in Puerto Rico. He's been doing it for quite some time as well. He does a good job promoting. Again, I'm very thankful to these promoters on the island, because without them, a lot of these young fighters wouldn't have venues to showcase their talents.
Yeah.
And
that's awesome.
And PR Best is no longer, right?
So PR Best is Peter Rivera. They haven't been doing boxing in some time, but the word on the street is, in fact, they approached, they made a close approach to me regarding one of my boxers who happened to be tied already. They plan on doing something on coming back. So don't be surprised if soon you hear them come out and start doing some shows again.
Okay. I know they were very prominent with shows on Telemundo. And they were kind of like a farm system for Top Rank.
They were very closely affiliated. So basically, it's almost like manager turned promoter, if you want to say. So Peter signed Kodo Management,
right,
and then he signed them to Top Rank. And of course, now you have them signed to Top Rank. And if you have the capabilities of putting your own shows together, which they were able to, then they started their own promotion in Puerto Rico. And so they had fighters like Juan Manuel Lopez, Miguel Cotto, and a few other Pollo de Jesus. They had a few other guys. And most recently, the Javier Cintron. I don't know if you know who that kid is. He's only Puerto Rican to be a double Olympian. Little blonde-headed kid. His name is Javier Cintron. He ended up playing in that decathlon game that they have on the islands with Salton. You know what that is? That they play. They actually film it in the Dominican Republic. That they do like these challenges and they're running courses and all that stuff. Salton is called.
Okay.
So he got on that show and he got paid, I guess, some pretty good money, and he hasn't boxed since. But again, the Riveras were managing his career.
I mean, if he got paid pretty well, that's good.
Yeah, but good enough not to box for a while, right?
Yeah, I guess, yeah. So.
Yeah.
Nice.
How important? I mean, to me, I've always said New York boxing goes at the beat of a Puerto Rican name. At least since I've been around. It's very important to have a prominent Puerto Rican fighter that's able to headline New York. That void right now, do you see someone that's going to, let's say, in the next 2 or 3 years, that's going to be that guy in New York out of the island?
Well, as you can see, basically, the promoters, they'll put in their minds and they'll pick certain fighters. It goes back to, again, who promotes who. And so at one point, as you know, we had these people pushing for Berlanga for a little while there, where they thought that he was going to be the one with, all the knockouts that he had. Now they're pushing, Top Rank is pushing for this kid, Xander Zayas, who looks very promising. But again, boxing is a sport where, you never know who that dog is going to be and, where he's going to come from. So I believe that even with a Chevalier, we have a chance to become that face. And the reason why I say that is because he is that face in Puerto Rico already. Now you have the U.S. market, right, where they want to align their guys. So like Xander Zayas, he's really popular and really known in New York and obviously amongst the Puerto Rican community. But when you go to Puerto Rico and you talk about a popular fighter, you have to mention Bryan Chevalier.
Yeah.
Bryan Chevalier, he fills the arenas. He's everybody can kind of relate to that guy. He's everybody's underdog kind of mentality, man. And he has a big following. Love him or hate him, you're going to be there to watch him. Because he has that chip as well. It's like, all right, you're gonna doubt me, I'm gonna show you. So he doesn't rub everybody. You're not $100 bill. Not everybody's gonna like you, And then when you keep proving people wrong, then they kind of go against you as well. Like, oh, you're gonna lose this time. You're gonna lose this time, and then you keep no, I'm not losing. I'm gonna keep proving you wrong. So he brings that even split fan base. So he has a lot of people that come because they love him and support him, and you have what we call the haters. The haters.
You're always gonna have haters.
You got the haters, but
does that hold true with Subriel as well? Like he's real popular over there as well, right?
Well, Matias was more a quiet type guy. See, Matias is not a media type person, so he didn't create a buzz on a fan base. He just created his fan base really just fighting with the most recent fights that he's fought are big events, and obviously everybody knows, the type of fighter he is. But as far as promoting himself on the island, even he is now, but he wasn't as popular because of personality as well. And sometimes you have these fighters that are, they're quiet, they're not. And he also comes from a very small promotional banner, like his promoter, who I know very well, Yomi. He's like a manager again / promoter type guy, Fresh Productions.
Yeah.
So he has Manny Rodriguez, who's a tremendous fighter, another champion, and he has Matias. He had Ojo Santiago. So he had a very small banner, and he quietly built his fighters. So I give him kudos for that. But again, it wasn't like, a lot of media behind them, the Puerto Rican papers. Like it wasn't like, you get thrusted into the newspapers, into the media, and that's again what we create these fighters, these images that we kind of say this is the guy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So like I said, right now Xander they're pointing into that direction with him. Is he the man? We'll see. I hope so, because I'll latch on too. Let's go. The more the merrier. I'm that kind of guy that as long as it brings eyes to the sport, and again, of course, for our Latinos and Puerto Ricans and Dominican fans to just get us going, and I'm all for it. So,
well, he's much more likable than Berlanga. Berlanga, they were trying to bring up, and Top Rank already kind of gave up on him already. So he's not with Top Rank anymore. But what do you think about Berlanga and his attitude in the fight game?
Well, it goes back to, again, us Latinos especially. There's a humble side to us. That's why people love the Tito Trinidads. The people don't like the brash, the wannabe hip hop. Look, they look more for the humble people person.
Yes.
And it just Belanga's a young man. I don't take. I think it's more. The fame got to him really quick. Have all these celebrities, Fat Joe right away. They start coming around you, and you start with, como decimos nosotros, you start believing the movie. We call it "Te crees la película," and this isn't a movie. You fight, you win. They love you for fighting and winning. They don't love you for acting. For this is the fighting business. So you could look a certain way all you want, but if you're not generating the wins. Because I guarantee you, if he was still knocking people out and looked at as impressive as he was looking when he had those 16 wins, people would still say, he's a little cocky for me, but hey, he's a man.
Yeah.
But when you're cocky and then you're not fighting up to par, then everybody's gonna rain on your parade. And I think that's the issue with him, where he's really a good young man. I know him personally, really good young man, good father, good people.
Yeah.
Again, but sometimes, that Hollywood stuff, the humble fans don't really like that, like Josue Vargas is another one I can mention, tremendous fighter, very talented, but very brash, sometimes your mouth, like even when he got stopped in the garden, I wasn't happy because I know him, he's a friend of mine, but I know there's a lot of people happy that happened to him, because again, people don't like that. People like,
he came out of character that fight. He never really used to do that, and he talked a lot, and he threw the flag. Didn't he throw the flag down? He did something with the flag, and like he pushed
I
was
remember
the Mexican flag.
Pushing
Cepeda.
I mean, he just. It was just, again, it wasn't a good look for him. And then
and he's never really done that before that. Like it just
out of character.
Very much.
The moment was like a little too big for him,
Absolutely. But again, back to your question though, for sure, what you see in Matias right now, he's a tough bone. He's a tough bone. And now that he's in the public eye, he's gaining momentum, and he's going to be a tough guy, and I'm sure he can pack some arenas, especially with his style of fighting.
Yeah,
right. He fights a fan-friendly style for sure.
Really good fighter.
Yeah. Any other? Let's see. I can't think of anybody else right now at the moment. Big time Puerto Rican fighters are coming up.
Well, you have from the young points. Let me see who else is out there that's from any other banner that I can think of. Well, Manny Rodriguez is really a good fighter. I mean,
he's good.
That one loss, I to me, he only has that one loss to the monster, to Inoue, and that was an experimental thing. They put him in with a trainer from Puerto Rico who was very unexperienced, and his plan was to go at the monster from round one. And I'm like, when they were talking like that, I said, this is very reckless, very dangerous for you to fight that guy like that. And it turned out to be a big mistake. He got stopped early when he should have, worked, boxed him. And now I'm not saying he would have beat him, but I think he could have done a lot better in that fight. And then I believe he has another loss, which was a very ugly decision, I believe, on Showtime, where he lost, but he won the fight. So Manny's also a really, really good talent. But like I said, these guys are more just hard-nosed fighters. They don't have that platform, the social media. Like I said, Chevalier, he works. He works the people. He works the crowds. So his social media is up. You know, he's consistently, you know, he's very, very fan friendly. You know, he'll be walking in the street, and you know, he does a lot of charity work, like the WBO. They do all these events, you know, giving out food and giving out mattresses, you know, with all the with the catastrophes and stuff, especially in Puerto Rico that we've had in recent years, which have been a few, from Maria to the earthquakes, and so he's very involved as well with the community. So you know that's why he's so popular as well. He goes out and he rolls up his sleeves and he's carrying mattresses, and that's why he's very well liked as well.
That's awesome.
You know,
yeah. That's I've heard very positive things about him, and he's a very likable guy. You know, and he comes from, people like say, he comes from the hood, right? He's like, that's what people say, right? So, you know, and he didn't do it the easy way. He had to work to come, you know, do it the hard way. So
yes, yeah, but he you know, he's proud of it. He wears it on his sleeve, and like I said, he's a good, you know, a good ambassador for these you know, poor upbringings. And again, you know, it's not easy, but you know, when you have people like him that show that it could be possibly done, then you create that spark in other people that perhaps think it can, and it start. Like I tell you, there's even kids in the gym. You know, there's stories where, you know, unfortunately, some of these kids, man, you know, the parents, they choose these horrible lives, and these poor kids are the ones that have to live with it. You know, and the gym is a safe haven. You know, a lot of these kids, they go in there, man, they really don't even have anything to eat sometimes, you know, when they go home. And it's sad to say, where they're at the gym, and you know, one of the older boxers will say, hey, come on, kid, and they'll bring them to his place and hang out with the kid and give him food. You know, like such good stories that come out of these places, that people, again, all people see is two guys fighting in the ring. They have no idea of the backstory that we live on a daily basis with these athletes and what they do, and you know, to have a better place, a little, you know, something safe for the kids to come to, you know. And again, a lot of the guys, like I can tell you, there's a couple of guys that are already cops that came out of the gym. There's a guy that's a therapist. There's, you know, all these kids. You're not all gonna be world champions in boxing, but back to what I said, you could be a champion in life, and those are the real champs that we create.
Exactly. I mean, it's a tough sport, and this is why, you know, I try hard, and I tell people that, you know, you can't call fighters. You know, he can't say, yo, he's fighting a bum or fight like that. These guys are not bums. These guys are fighters. They go in the ring and they lay it on the line. Like, you know, it's very easy for us as fans. We're not taking the punches. You know, and I try very hard not to say that. I mean, these guys, you know, and then I see guys on social media, guys in the boxing business, you know, calling fighters trash and bums and stuff like that. And that's terrible. You know, you're in the business of boxing in some way or fashion, and you know, you're disrespecting a fighter. I just don't think it's, you know, it's cool. I don't think it's right at all, you know. So, you know, and you hear stories like what you're telling us here with the young fighters, you know, look at what they go through. Look at what, you know, their upbringing, you know, and you know, it's very easy for somebody to say that about somebody else, but you didn't have that upbringing. You didn't go through it. I mean, me and Sock, we coach Little League baseball, you know, and the kids, and we're in the Bronx. We're in the Soundview section of the Bronx, and you know, some of these kids didn't have it, you know, well, and you know, and some of the kids were just thrown in there as just like used as babysitters for 2.5 hours or 3 hours, you know.
Well, Socrates can tell you, I did it as well. I did Asta Little League for many years, so I know exactly.
Oh, you did Asta? Okay, we might have coached against you. The All-Star team, we did. We was Blessed Sacrament Little League, so I don't know. They don't exist anymore, but yeah. So we coached. You know, Sock didn't do it as much as me, but he coached with me for a bunch of years. But yeah, you see kids like right there from. I don't know if you're familiar with Soundview, from the Bronxdale Projects, Boxing Avenue, Bronx River. I mean, you know, and some of those kids just didn't have it. And like I said, you know, those are the good kids. You know, those are the kids that want to play. But then you had the kids that didn't want to play, but they just threw them in there, you know, for us to babysit, you know, and we welcome.
What time I pick them up, coach?
Yeah, exactly. I swear to God, that's exactly what it is. And you as a coach, you know that too. It's the same thing. So you was in a better league than us. Ask the Little League. That was by Gun Hill, right?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Right by the bus depot over there.
Yeah, I had fun coaching. I love coaching. It was
great years.
Yeah.
But you know, even going back to, you know, and I wanna emphasize a little bit on, you know, when people see a fighter that has a couple of losses right away, he's a bum. That, you know, obviously he's trash, you know. it goes back to also managing. Back to this interview.
Right.
About to represent the management side. And I know what it takes to help a fighter succeed. I'm not saying you're gonna make them all world champions because you don't get in there and fight for them. But you have to match your fight as well, and you have to give them
Yes.
opportunities to win. I have a fighter that I picked up. Again, Emilio had this kid come in the gym. His name is Jayron Santiago, and this kid right now has 11 wins and 10 losses. They turned him pro when he was like 18 years old, and they would take him anywhere and everywhere that they would offer the kid a fight. Florida, LA, you name it, they took the kid out there. Young kid, and he's a fighter. He's like, his manager says, you're gonna come here, you're gonna fight this guy, and he would take all these terrible fights. And again, he came as damaged goods to the gym. And our doors are open. It's not just, if you have a perfect record. No, we'll see what you got. The kid came into the gym. We knew him, well. And Emilio says, Ricky, he still has a lot left in his tank. And, I think we could do something with this kid. We could turn his career around. I mean, this kid, we call him the Phoenix, man. We beat Nate Martinez with him up in Connecticut. One of CES fighters. We went up there into his house up in Connecticut, beat him up really good. He fought David Navarro. They didn't raise his hand in Oklahoma, but he gave this kid, he lost a split decision, and he gave this kid a tremendous beating out there. So he won the fight, They didn't give him the win, but he won the fight. And fast forward, his last fight, December 2nd, he fought a kid by the name of Derek Ufares, undefeated from Puerto Rico. They have him as one of the good prospects coming up. 7-0, 5 KOs, and Jayron just destroyed him. And I'm talking about every single round he beat him to a pulp. Where they should have stopped the fight. I don't know. Bad decision on their team. The kid is young. He's getting beat up. Save him for another day. They should have stopped the fight. But what I'm trying to say with that is these guys ain't bums. These guys are fighters. They get in the ring to feed their families. And unfortunately, if you don't take them down the right path, you're gonna see L's. You're gonna see, these upside down records. It doesn't necessarily mean they're not a good fighter. It has a lot to do with how you match them and how you manage their careers.
Yeah, for sure.
So, when you see those fights that the guy has these losses and all of a sudden he's beating the crap out of the undefeated guy, you rest assured he's a fighter. He's a good fighter. Just maybe he didn't have the right management team to start him up, and that's why this happens. But they're definitely not bums. I give a lot of respect to these young men and women that they get in that ring and perform for the audience, because that's all it is a showcase for us to sit back. People sit there, drink beers and talk smack, but these guys are risking their lives in that ring. And you got to respect that.
100%. Did they give you guys a schedule already for any open workouts or?
Not yet. I know that we fly in. He flies in Tuesday, I believe the 13th. And of course I'll keep you guys posted with everything that we're doing
and stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
And of course, if you guys have the time and you want to come down and meet him and spend a little time, then you're more than welcome. I'd appreciate you guys even coming to meet him so you could get a little feel for yourself of the great person that he is as well. You'll root for him even harder when you meet him.
Oh, for sure. Definitely.
Yeah, he's as humble as they come, believe me.
Yeah. That sounds like a plan, for sure.
Yeah, it'd be an honor to have you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So any predictions on this fights tomorrow? I mean, you just said earlier, but Pete Dobson, he's got a legit shot. I think
I'm telling you, man, people, when you don't know, sometimes you don't know the fighters, and right away, he's the underdog. But I said, in the match, the fighters that I can compare, that I say, you have a Cordell Booker, who's a very, very good fighter, and Peter stopped him. Peter's a tough. I have a fighter which Socrates helped me out with. We made a comeback with the Mandingo Warrior, Socrates.
Ayuso.
Stefan Owusu. Good fighter from the Bronx. He's a good example of unfortunate circumstances. This kid was a tremendous talent from the Bronx. We had him when he made his comeback, and he was doing really well. unfortunately, he got into some issues, got into a fight, and then he broke his jaw. So it's like the comeback just kept getting delayed. And unfortunately, his last fight was in Connecticut. Socrates prepared him very well. It wasn't conditioning. The kid was in great shape. But we lost that fight with Owusu, with Stefan Owusu there.
Yeah.
But he's another case of a fighter that who was good. And if you don't choose the right path outside the boxing gym as well, then I had a fighter by the name of Joel Torres, because a lot of times people also you talk about promoters, you talk about managers. The fighters really have to do their job too, guys. Sometimes, people say, oh, the fighter lost, and they turn their back on the fighter. It's also your discipline determines how long people stick around you as well. I had this kid, Joel Torres. Well, he was a tremendous talent. He had the looks, the personality. Yep. He could box, he could punch. He had one thing wrong with him. He liked to hang out. And, you guys know in the boxing world, there's no room for hanging out and going to bars and drinking and stuff like that. And, he was a fighter that he actually changed my management life. And I'll tell you guys a quick story. So, when we do these things, right, you have a family behind you involved, your wife, your kids. My wife has always been very supportive. When you're doing this, it's almost like you're shooting a dream, right? Because there's nothing guaranteed. You take time from your family, and money. You spend money on the fighters. And Joello was a really good fighter, and we all loved him. And he was like a son to me. And when he lost, and Jim and BB King's as well. And he had a small hemorrhage. It was a very scary moment. He had to go to the emergency room, and he ended up in my house for about 2 weeks, recuperating from his injuries from the fight. And, it was such a scary moment that it traumatized my wife. My wife, who's my biggest supporter, she hadn't been to a boxing match in 15 years after that event, from that loss. So that's how traumatic this could be as well. We're dealing with lives here. So it was 15 years fast forward, and I'm like, babe, I'm not losing. You got to come to the fights again. Like, come on, So she just went recently and looked to she happens to go to the fight where Chevalier fought Juarez, which was a war. So she's like, oh my goodness. But again, kudos to also the families that the wives, a lot of times people don't realize I've lived it with fighters too, where if you're a boxer and the person you're with, your spouse, she doesn't believe in the sport or she doesn't support you, it becomes an uphill battle. It becomes much harder for you to succeed. So it's a team effort all the way around, from the management to your spouse. It's really hard to make it in this game, and that's another thing that people don't realize. They see these guys get in the ring, and that's another part of the game that they don't realize, all the sacrifices that not only they make, but the families have to make for them to succeed in this career as well.
Yeah, nice. Just to touch up on Peter, my thing is with Peter, I think if he gets past the first couple of rounds, I think he'll be good. I think it's the first couple of rounds I'm most nervous about, because Conor comes on strong, in the first couple of rounds. I think if he could get by that without maybe taking damage or getting hurt, I think Pete can outbox him.
Well, I'll be honest, and the thing is this: I think. And from what I think Peter is the stronger fighter. He's bigger than him. He's a natural 154 pounder. He is the bigger guy.
Well, when we spoke to him, he said he's a 147 pounder.
He is, but yeah. But in the amateurs, he always fought big. Like I said, Cordell Booker's a full blown middleweight, and Peter Dobson. What I mean is, if you look at even when you saw the face-offs,
he was bigger. Yeah,
he's a bigger, stronger guy. So if Conor's gonna try to go in there and blitz the bigger, stronger guy, be careful. Be careful, because the other guy has hands too.
This is a huge opportunity for him. So
yeah. Rick, I remember he almost signed with you. I remember you had a meeting with
absolutely. And going back to, that's why I mentioned Owusu, and I went off track a little bit. Owusu was sparring Peter Dobson in the Bronx, and Peter Dobson almost killed him, man.
Jesus,
he almost knocked him out.
Wow.
That's why I have brought him up, Socrates. That
Yeah,
we were talking about
I was
Peter, and I
there.
brought up Owusu because I've seen him firsthand. The
Yeah.
kid can punch. He's a strong kid, very
Well,
strong fighter.
He said it. I mean, I quoted. I use this as a short video. I thought it was key. He said, a lot of these fighters, they're built up by the promoters, but the real fighters, they know who the good fighters are in the gym. And he said he's been in tough sparring with named fighters.
Really
Like,
good
he
fight.
said
He's been in good camps.
he's been with Crawford. I think was one. I
Crawford.
believe he said Haney as well. He
Erickson Lubin.
Lubin, yes, he mentioned Lubin. I think.
The kid in Philadelphia, Ennis. That at least from what I know firsthand.
And they call you back because they know your good work.
Yeah,
exactly.
Absolutely. But Peter has a great chance. He has a great chance.
Yeah. The inactivity. He hasn't fought in a while. And
he didn't look good in the team combat league either. I mean, I know it's one round, but he says when he was saying, he said it's one round. It's not like it's slow starting. Like it's not. You can't really get off. You need a few rounds. Yeah.
He's a counter puncher. He's a boxer. I mean, look, he's fighting the house fighter.
Yeah.
So, he's got to outfight the guy. And if he does drop, make sure the ref knows how to count to 10.
Yeah, facts.
Let's see.
So, another fight I want to ask you about, is Thursday. We know about Teofimo Lopez. Not many people know about Jermaine Taylor. Do you think Jermaine Taylor's got a legit shot? Jermaine Ortiz. Sorry about
Jermaine Ortiz. He's also a CBS fighter. Yeah. That's a Jimmy Birchfield's fighter. Absolutely, yeah. Ortiz. He's a live dog. I'll be honest with you. And this is his claim to fame was that he looked good against Vasily Lomachenko.
Yeah.
He looked decent in that fight. But if you actually go a couple of fights back where Adorno almost knocked him out the ring.
Yeah.
Adorno.
Yeah.
It goes to levels, right? So if Adorno did that to you, you know what I mean? And your claim was the Lomachenko fight. So if you use them as measuring sticks, I think Teofimo blows him out. And I think Teofimo at the level that he's fighting and what he brings to the table, I think Teofimo is definitely a step above him. So I take Teofimo. You
don't think, because it looked like from what we hear, he struggled with the weight. You don't think the 5 pounds helps him and makes him a little more comfortable?
Could be. I'm just based off what I seen in the ring, right? So if you go by, how I saw him, Adorno to me won that fight. They gave it a draw, but Adorno's not a bad fighter, but I don't think he's top tier either. He's good, but I'm just going by levels, right? So if he struggled the way he did with Adorno, and Lomachenko's Lomachenko, right?
Yeah.
But Teofimo, I think beat him. He beat him convincingly. I think Jermaine looked really good, but I still think Lomachenko won the fight.
I thought it was a draw. I think
it was a close fight. It was a close
Loma
fight.
came on strong at the end.
Yeah.
But I think Ortiz won at least 4 of the first 5 rounds. Like he looked good in the first.
Yeah, he was surprising.
The gas tank kind of went down towards the second half, and that could be the weight. That's what.
No, absolutely.
The next fight.
I'm not taking from the young man. But as far as picking the fight, I'm still sticking with
Teo.
Okay. My thing with Teo is Teo tends to fight down to the level.
Yeah,
very true.
Like he shouldn't have lost to Cambosis.
Well, back to what they said. They literally said he was having trouble breathing. Even during the fight, they said that. Now you have a kid that has an asthma issue, and he said he wasn't able to breathe properly in that fight, and he still remember he got dropped early, but he dropped him later on in the fight.
Yeah. But he didn't look good against Sandor.
That was to me his worst fight.
Yeah, right. Sandor looked. Sandor should have won that fight.
Back to Styles, southpaw that can box. Right. Styles do make fights, but what I'm saying is, like, right now, coming off that last fight with
Taylor,
with Josh Taylor, I mean, he looked really good. He looked really good in that event. So, he looked a good fight.
That's one of the best I've seen him. Like he made him look amateurish. Like,
and we were there in person. That was the reigning king at 140 at the time.
Yeah. So But at the same time, too, let's credit Josh Taylor hadn't fought in a while either, and Josh Taylor didn't look good against Catterall. So,
You're right. Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
so,
right. Because
so
that
it'll
was
be
also a
interesting.
bad performance by him.
Yeah, I think this is going to be an interesting fight just off those reasons alone, and with the weight with Ortiz. So, I mean, I expect Tio to have a great performance. I think he needs a great performance. I think he needs to, he needs to beat this guy and then maybe set him up with, maybe unification later on, maybe in June or something like that. So I think
With Matias, he called out Matias.
he did. Yeah, he did call out Matias. But everybody's been calling everybody. Matias been calling out fighters, but nobody's making fights. Nobody's, he called out Haney and Haney. Supposedly Haney's dad, not supposedly, he did reach out to Matias's people. So I don't know, but Matias supposedly, I think he injured his hands.
Yeah, he just had it worked on.
Yeah.
So he was at the gym. He was at the gym yesterday checking out Chevalier.
Okay.
They called me up to put some money on the fight. The money line is crazy.
Yeah, I thought a 4-1 underdog.
470 plus, brother.
Okay, close to 5. Sorry.
Yeah, but I'm saying 470 plus.
Yeah, that's big. Yeah, 470. Yeah. That's a big difference.
Yeah, Matias called yesterday from the gym. He wanted me to put some money on the fight for him.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
You think you think he'll coming down also or coming up?
I'm not sure. I believe he's gonna start his camp. I don't think he's coming, but he definitely went to visit Chevalier. He trained. He comes down. He spars with my guys. We're very close to his camp as well. So he was down there yesterday checking out Chevalier.
Does he has a fight lined up, or they're still?
Well, they just worked on his hand, so he's just. But I believe he has something cooking as far as the promotional. He's gonna have some deals on the line where he has a couple of multi-fight deal that should be in the works for him. So hopefully you have some announcements coming soon.
Nice. That'll be good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah, those are the two big ones, I guess. You got tomorrow and Thursday, and then next week. I don't even know who is next week. I forgot. There's yeah, that's Thursday. Yeah. I was just saying on Saturday. I don't remember. I think somebody else is fighting, but yeah, I can't even think right now. But yeah, so Teofimo's Thursday. Tomorrow's Pistol Pete. The Khalil Cole. You know anything about Khalil Cole? He's from I think he's from Jersey, but his trainer is Eric Roman.
Yeah, I know of him, but I haven't followed his career closely. I couldn't. Yeah,
he's fighting tomorrow too. So
yeah,
I met Eric Roman. Eric Roman's a nice guy. He's cool. So nice, man. Nice. I mean, Sock, you have anything else? I don't.
Whatever I ask Ricardo, I say to Ricardo is very biased because I love Ricardo. He's a brother. I know him for as long as he's been here, in the boxing game, and I wish him nothing but the best. He knows that.
Thank you, guys.
The 16th will be there. We'll be in the building.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I really
get in touch. Like I said, if you want, if he's got a media day or working out, we'll go. I'm down to go check him out.
Absolutely, I'll keep you posted with everything, guys. And once again, I appreciate you taking the time to support the sport that I love, and I know obviously you both love. We need more people like you to keep, and just letting people know, that this sport isn't just people. You always hear, especially from the non-boxing fans, that a lot of negative stuff about the sport. And again, I people need to know this is a lot deeper than just two people getting in there and punching each other. This changes lives. And, it starts with this, putting the word out. When people see these interviews, they start following the fighters a little bit more. And you could have a little insight on them as well, to know that they're really good people. Like I said, these guys, they get in the ring, but when they get outside that ring, they're the best human beings you could possibly meet. And it's an honor to represent them and make sure that they get paid fairly for the job they do. And that's why I love managing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's why we do it. We do it because we love it. We have our opinions, but our opinions, we're not in there. I mean, Saka is a little more experienced because he worked with some of the fighters, but it's always good to have somebody like yourself, come and just, drop some gems and let people know what it's all about from inside the game. Right. So
100%.
So we definitely
thanks again, guys.
Definitely. I appreciate you coming on, and we'll definitely talk soon.
Yes, sir. It's an honor. Thanks again. And we'll be in touch. All the best. God bless you guys.
All right. God bless.
Have a good night.
Thank you, brother.
Take care. It was pretty good, Sock. I mean, yeah, Ricardo was great. That was a great guess. He dropped some
He's a
gems.
great
And
dude.
that was awesome. I didn't know he coached Little League in Astor.
You know, I remember him telling me that because I remember his kids, his son. I think he's like a sophomore in college, and I do remember him when he was coaching. Yeah, they used to live over that way.
Well, did he? Oh, on the same time we coached.
I think a little bit after.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit after. Yeah.
Astor Little League.
I don't want to bring up the Cowboys, you know, but
oh yeah, you did say he was a Cowboy fan. Wow.
How about them boys?
Oh man.
Yeah, man. So I think it was a good spot. I think February 16th it'll be a good show at the theater, or the Hulu Theater?
Hulu Theater, yes.
The Hulu Theater underneath the famous Madison Square Garden, which is rocking and rolling right now.
Oh my God, the Knicks.
I don't know if you knew, Tom. New York has a basketball team.
Sock, Knicks tape, right? That's all. It's crazy. It's like it's 1994, 95 all over again.
Bing bong.
But it's good. I'm not a Knicks fan, huh?
If you know, you know.
I'm not a Knicks fan, but it's good. It's good when the Knicks are good. It's good for the the city. You know, it's good to hate on them too.
Absolutely.
You know? Yeah.
it's better to hate than to root.
I mean, you know, we know Socrates Palmer Jr., my best friend in the whole wide world. He's also a Celtics fan, and you know that's the rival of the New York Knicks. But by the way, they lost to the team that I like yesterday, the LA Lakers. So just had to let you have it. I don't know if you saw my text last night. I know you chose to ignore it.
How good is Reeves, huh?
But I didn't watch a single minute of the game. I just saw the score. I will tell the truth about that. So.
It's February. So
we'll watch it.
How good is Reeves?
Reeves
is good.
Yeah, he's played well.
Yeah, he's good.
Yeah. I dropped the link if anybody want to come up. D Free was in the chat. I didn't came a little bit late. If you're welcome to come up, but I guess there's a lot of things going on in the world of boxing. You know, obviously we spoke a little bit about the fight tomorrow. We interviewed Pete Dobson. He's got a big challenge tomorrow against Conor Ben. We wish him the best of luck. I was a little nervous for him because I didn't like his energy at the press conference, but I'm sure it's his first time under the, you know, it is his first time under the lights, and it's probably got to him. But you know, I'm sure once the bell rings, he'll get in there and do well and make and represent the Bronx. You know, well, you know, I don't want to hold no L's. You know, so
right. I think nervous energy.
Yeah, nervous energy. So I think
he'll be all right. Like I think you brought up a great point. I think once he gets past the second and third round,
I think he's going to be good.
Yeah.
I think he's a better boxer than Ben.
Right. Conor's strong, throws a lot of punches, but let's see him in deep waters.
Yeah.
Maybe the 7th, 8th round. You know, he may not have that same energy since he's not taking those, you know, Flintstone vitamins.
Those eggs, right? That's what he said. He took some eggs. It was in the eggs. What's good, D Free? What's going on, bro?
It's cracking, brother.
What's going on, man?
What's up? You're breaking up a little bit.
I'm on duty tonight.
Look at he's on duty. Where's Brett?
Yeah, no, I'm on tonight.
You keeping these DC streets safe?
Yeah.
I'm
out here doing the club scene tonight.
You're breaking up, D Free.
That badge is shining, brother.
Hold on.
That badge is sharp.
Yo, it's like you're so stupid. Let me I see we're gonna get into a little football. My man William Old School talking about his Saints. Let me know what you think about Kubiak as the Saints OC, offensive coordinator. Kubiak was he the former he quarterback for the Saints, right?
No.
Is it the same Kubiak? I don't know.
He was Elway's backup, and then he had good success with the Texans.
I think that's the Kubiak that used to be the head coach.
For the Texans.
But he was a quarterback, right? I think he was a quarterback too.
He was a backup.
Okay.
Backup for the Broncos.
Yeah. who's going to be the QB for the Saints next year? Is it still going to be Carr?
It's still gonna be Carr.
Still going to be Carr?
They paid too much money for Carr to be a backup.
Yeah,
Unless they release him and they get somebody out of the draft.
I can see that.
Well, I'm gonna tell you this, William Osco. I'm gonna say one thing, and I'm ready to start some shit right now. I don't think Kubiak is going to be as bad as a hire as the Commanders hiring Dan Quinn as their head coach. I didn't want Dan Quinn, and I was happy not to get him.
Hey, I'm not mad that we got Dan Quinn because we also got his pass play coordinator, which is the defensive coordinator. I'm not really mad at Dan Quinn because if you think about Dan Quinn, what he brings to the team, our defense was the downfall of us. So he's a great defensive-minded coach. I think he's going to build up our defense. All we need to get in place is the right offensive coordinator because I believe they let EB go.
They did.
So I believe we did.
Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Wow.
So we just need to get the right offensive coordinator. If we can get the right offensive coordinator, I think we'll be straight because he's going to build up the defense.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about that because that's what he's known for. He's known for building up defense. We just need to get the.
You guys drafted QB?
That's the rumor.
I don't know.
Line help. They need offensive line help. That was one of the big problems. There's no protection.
Yeah. If they get a QB, because we got the number 2 pick.
Right.
If we get a QB, the rest of those first picks that we got in the, I think we got 5 picks in the top 100. Those other 4 picks got to be offensive linemen.
Yeah. Wow, I'll be shocked if they draft a quarterback. I mean,
at least 3 of them got to be an offensive lineman.
Yeah, I'd be shocked. I mean, and the quarterback. So who's the quarter? I mean, I'm scared of Caleb Williams. I have so many doubts about.
He's not high on our. As far as I know, he's not high on our draft board. As far as I know, but I'm not really worried about it because I think we got the right GM with Adam Peters. I think he's a great GM. I think he's going to make all the right moves to build this franchise. I think he's going to make all the right moves to build a franchise. If you look everywhere he went, every team went to the Super Bowl at least one time. They went to the Super Bowl. So I got faith in Adam Peters. I think he's going to make the right choices in the draft. I think he's going to make the right choices in the free agency because we got $90+ million in cap space. So we got enough money to do whatever we need to do.
Okay. Yeah, and I know Sock is very happy with his hiring. I believe you was happy with Pierce.
Well, I mean, the team, it was almost a mutiny. If they didn't bring back Pierce.
Yeah, they were gonna.
I think if it was up to Mark Davis, he probably would have brought in Harbaugh. But Antonio Pierce captured that locker room.
Yeah.
And I like that they hired a veteran to help him out in Marvin Lewis, the guy who didn't win the Super Bowl but had a lot of success as a head coach.
Yeah.
So, Graham had a great year as a D coordinator, and
I think Marvin Lewis was a great. I always liked him. I just thought he had bad luck with.
He did have bad luck.
Yeah, he had bad luck,
especially when Palmer.
They was a dirty. Wasn't that a dirty hit? It was like in his ankle or something.
Yes, because the Steelers.
That's why I hate Steelers. I hate them.
Yeah, one of the many reasons to hate the Steelers.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, who doesn't hate the Steelers? Outside, there's a lot of Pittsburgh fans. Even
outside of Pittsburgh,
there's a lot of Pittsburgh Niners.
Jumpers in
New
York.
Pittsburgh Niners and Dallas. There's a lot of fans outside of their city.
Can't even spell Pittsburgh. If you give him 2 P's.
Yeah. Well, my head coach, I'm happy with my head coach. I'm happy with the hire. We give a guy a shot, young kid, right? Went from the oldest coach to the youngest coach now.
Crazy.
And let's see what happens. He brought over, I I think he brought over somebody from Baltimore already in the staff. I don't know who's going
to be. Y'all got Michael McDonald, right? Y'all got Michael McDonald?
Oh, yeah. I don't know who's going to be the offensive coordinator. I'm very curious to see who they're going to get. But I'm happy with it. It's just now let's see what they're going to do. The team right now, they have to make some moves. They got to release some guys. They're over the cap, so it's hard to, unless they release guys. They need to release Adams, get rid of that contract. They got to make a decision on Gino by like the 14th or 15th to release him. If not, his money is guaranteed. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. I'm hearing that Lockett is going to go. They're going to either get rid of him or trade him or something like that. I think he has another year in his contract. I don't know if they're going to re-sign Wagner because Wagner, I believe, was a 1 year. So it's going to be interesting. And then the team's going to be for sale most likely next year. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm excited about the sell because this lady that has the team now doesn't really know anything about football. I don't think she knows what she's doing. But they have a big fan base. They're in a good area, so I'm assuming they're gonna get a good owner eventually in the next couple of years. So Seattle, they're listed as a team to win now, but they have a lot of pieces that need to be filled. So it'll be interesting. But I see Seattle another 500, 9-8 or 8-9 next year again. Like right there, out, missing the playoffs. But we'll see. I want to get Penix. That's the guy I think we can get in the draft because we have a late first round pick. Get the guy from Washington. That's the guy I want the Seahawks to get. But they never draft for anybody that I want. So we'll see what happens. They never draft. I'm telling you, I'm happy with Metcalf to an extent because I complain about Metcalf all the time. But I call for Debo the entire draft. I remember texting a Niner fan. And he was like, yo, who you like in the draft? And I said, I want to get Debo. I really want Debo. And then Seattle's looking to get a receiver. And the Niners took Debo before I think Metcalf got picked. So
the Senior Bowl is when?
I don't know. That's a good question. I have no idea. I know the Pro Bowl is this weekend, right? But nobody really cares about the Pro Bowl.
You said what's going on this?
The Senior Bowl.
The Senior Bowl is tomorrow.
Tomorrow, right?
Okay,
tomorrow.
Okay.
Yeah, at 1 p.m.
Yeah. I don't know if you know this, Deep Free. I told Sock earlier. I just found out earlier today. The fight tomorrow is UK time, even though it's in Vegas. So it's an afternoon fight. So like the card, I think, starts at like 1:30 or 2:30. So the main event will be at like 5:30.
Well, I mean, that's expected because that's what the zone usually do. They usually put their cards on in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So that's expected, and we all know Conor Ben is a huge superstar in the UK. So they gotta do it for Conor Ben. He can't fight in the UK, so he got to fight in the US. They just putting it on like he will be fighting in the UK.
Well, hopefully he loses tomorrow and nobody's gonna give a damn about him. So
damn.
I was looking at the face-off and Conor Ben. I guess he tried to punk Peter, and Peter wasn't going for it.
No,
I was
not
like,
this time.
okay, yeah, this gonna be very interesting.
Yeah, he looked much better in the face-off today, much better. So. Yeah, and he looked good. He looked a little soft. He looked a little soft around the waist, but he felt pretty good. He looked pretty good. They both weighed 150.6. They both came in the exact same weight. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I mean, I really want him to do well. I want him to respectable at the very least, right? So
yeah. But, I think like I said when we had the interview, I think if he can get him past round 6. I think Conor Ben will be there for easy pickings. I think he could. That's when he can possibly try to take him out. Don't try to take him out early in the fight. Wait until round 6 and on, because Conor Ben, he tends to slow down, and he's a front runner. I don't remember him knocking anybody out after round 6. He might have. I just don't remember. So I think he's a
That's a good
front
point.
runner. I think if he can get him past round 6, I think Conor Bennett's going to be there to be hit because his defense is not that great.
No.
And I think Conor Bennett's going to be a lot weaker after round 6.
I agree. Take him to deep waters.
Yeah.
Take him to deep waters.
All his knockouts has been early.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he had any knockouts past round 6.
Yeah.
I think all his knockouts was 6 and earlier.
Yeah, round 2, round 4, round 1, round 4, round 2, round 4, round 2. Yeah, everything is early. He has not got a late, his early fights. You're right. You're absolutely right. That's a good point. Good call on that. Yeah, that's the same as in when Maelo fought Walsh. Walsh hadn't got past the 6th round, and we saw what happened with him.
He remind me of Edgar Berlanga. His power carries early after 6 rounds. Edgar Berlanga, his power is not gone, but it doesn't have the same velocity on the punches.
Yeah,
it's like his punches is still hard, but it's not the punches that you was getting in round 1, 2, and 3. So, and I think Conor Bennett's the same way because if you look at the last fight, he was hitting that guy with everything. That guy was not going nowhere. He'd take a step back and then he'll walk forward. Every time Conor Benn hit him, he'll take a step back and then walk forward. Yeah. I was like, okay, I don't know if it's because you're not on the eggs or your power just didn't carry. Yeah. I don't know what it was, but he didn't look like the Conor Benn that we saw when he fought Chris Algieri.
Yeah.
Correct.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, other news. I mean, let's go. I mean, we the other big fight this week before we go on Fridays would be Teofimo and Jermaine Ortiz. We spoke briefly about that with Ricardo. What do you think? What do you think is going to happen?
I think Teo probably will pull it off, but I don't know because like Jermaine Ortiz is a different type of fighter than Teo was used to fighting. The only person that Teo fought that was close to the style of Jermaine Ortiz was Loma. And everybody else that Teo fought pretty much stood right in front of him. I mean, even when he fought Kambosos stood right there in front of him for the most part. Kambosos was just a little more slicker than Teo was. I think Teo was mainly going for the knockout.
Yeah.
But outside of Loma, I think everybody stood right there in front of Teo. And I don't see Jermaine Ortiz standing right in front of him. I see Jermaine Ortiz boxing him, and they have a similar style. I think Teo is stronger, but I don't know because I think Jermaine Ortiz wasn't at his natural weight class. I think 140 is more of his natural weight class. So I don't know, but I think Teo might be stronger because I haven't seen the power from Teo since he's been at 140. He done had 3 fights, and I haven't seen the power from Teo since he's been there. So
no, 2 fights. I think he only had 2 fights at 140.
Yeah, 3. He had Campus, he had Martinez, and he just fought Josh Taylor. 3 fights.
Sandor Martin he fought at 140, right?
140 with Sandor Martin. That was the last fight before he fought before he fought Josh Taylor, but the one before that was Campus.
Campus?
Yep, it was Campus.
Well, I don't remember that fight.
Yeah, that was his first fight at 140 was Campus after he fought Kambosos. He moved up to fight Campus, and he went 12. I mean, I think he went 12 rounds with Campus. I'm not sure if it was a 10-rounder or a 12-rounder, but he went the distance.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember that fight.
Yeah, so he had 3 fights at 140, and I haven't seen the power from him. And so I don't know if his power translated to 140. But I think they fight a similar style. They both are boxers. They like to move around the ring. And Teo does fight down to his competition. I don't know if he's looking past Jermaine Ortiz because he's talking about Devin Haney. He's talking about Matias, and then he's talking about going up to 147 and fighting Bud Crawford. So I don't know if he's looking past Jermaine Ortiz, because that's the same mistake he made when he fought Kambosos. He was looking past Kambosos, talking about Devin Haney and a couple other guys. So if he's looking past Jermaine Ortiz can spoil the apple cart.
I'm right with you. I, like you said, I think the biggest enemy for Tio is between his ears. You know, I think if he's focused, I think he should be able to beat Ortiz pretty easily. But he's looking past and thinking about bigger paydays. He could be set up for an upset.
Yep. I got T.O., but I don't know, because T.O.'s talking the same way he was talking when he fought Kambosos. He's talking the same way, and we saw what happened in that fight. And he said the same exact thing he said to Kambosos. He said, "I'm gonna knock this man out."
Yeah, he did.
Same thing he said to Kambosos.
The only difference here is that they fought each other before. Like, I mean, they were young. I think like 15 years old or something like that. So they fought each other in I guess the amateurs. But I just don't see Ortiz winning a decision. I think this could be another Sandor Martin fight, like where, you know, he could get outclassed or, you know, and outboxed, and I just don't see him winning a decision against Tio. You know, I would hope to see a good Tio to maybe set up one of these major, you know, big fights, unification fights, you know, because I would like to see him in there with Devin, you know, or Matias, you know, even Ryan Garcia, which I know that won't happen, but, you know.
But see, I think I don't know if Tio takes that Matias fight. I don't know if he takes that Matias fight, because if Tio power really did not translate to 140, Matias is the wrong guy you want to get in there with.
Yeah, I think you're right.
He's the wrong guy you want to get in there with, because Matias is willing to take a shot from you to land his shot. He'll let Tio hit him a couple of times just to land a big shot.
Yeah.
And he's the wrong guy to get in there with. He better off trying to unify with Devin or Rolly or somebody. You better off you trying to unify with one of them. You try to get in there with Matias and your power didn't translate to 140, you liable to go to sleep in that fight.
Yeah. Speaking of Rolly, let's go to this, because we obviously go to all over YouTube and hear the same fighters being talked about. What do you think about Rolly and Isaac Cruz? I know that we got, you know, a little bit over a month away, but that's an interesting fight.
That fight right there is not going to go the distance, and I think whoever goes backwards loses in that fight. I really do, because neither one of them fight good on the back foot. I think whoever goes backwards loses in that fight, and I'm leaning towards Pitbull winning that fight, because Rolly hasn't looked good in the last couple of fights. Ever since he lost to Tank, even before he lost to Tank Davis, but when he lost to Tank Davis, he got in there with Barroso, and he didn't look good at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was some BS.
And Pitbull is like, he's like Matias. He don't have the power of Matias, but he's gonna come forward. He's gonna put the high guard up, and he's gonna walk straight. He's not gonna do no moving or none of that. He's gonna cut the ring off and walk you down. And if Rolly is not able to hurt Pitbull, Rolly might end up going to sleep.
Isaac Cruz didn't look too good either, you know, in his last fight.
He's very small though. That's not concerning.
Pitbull, he don't look. Yeah, he's not somebody that I would pick against a top level fighter. But this is Rolly we talking about. I don't consider Rolly a top level fighter. I don't even consider Rolly a champion. Although he was awarded the belt, I think that was an early stoppage. I think Barroso was beating Rolly in that fight, and I mean he did get awarded the belt. The referee stopped the fight. He got awarded the belt, but I don't look at Rolly as a top level fighter. I think this is going to be a ugly, nasty, somebody's getting slammed, somebody's getting tackled type of fight.
I mean,
I kind of think the same thing. I think I mentioned that to somebody. I forgot who I mentioned on somebody's channel or Instagram, and I said this might be a dirty fight. Go ahead, Socrates. You start talking. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say. I mean, if you look at Rolly's whole career, he got a gift against the Dominican dude, Martinez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
I mean, Rolly is a little bit of a fraud, but
and against Jackson. Against Jackson.
Word. I mean, I don't know whose nephew he is in the commission in Vegas.
I don't remember the Jackson fight, but I definitely remember the Dominican fight. That I thought he lost that fight.
Yeah.
The Jackson fight was the fight that Rolly got outboxed, and Rolly had a couple of knots on his eye, and people were like, "How did he win that fight?" That was the fight right before. I think that was like one or two fights before he fought Tank Davis. It was like one or two fights before Tank, and he got awarded that fight, and a lot of people thought that Rolly lost that fight. I was one of the ones that thought Rolly lost that fight.
Yeah, Rolly. The best Rolly I've seen was the Rolly that lost the Tank. Yeah, that's the best Rolly I've seen. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, so
right before he got cracked.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting fight. Once again, I just want to mention this. There's no way that card should be a pay-per-view card. That's nuts. Like, that's pay-per-view. You got on that same card as Zoo and Thurman. I
want to see who else is going to be on that card, because that's the only two fights that I've seen so far.
Lara.
Isn't a Fundora on that card as well?
I think Lara's fighting someone.
Oh, yeah, Lara's fighting too. You're right. Yes.
I mean it could be a good card. I still don't know if it's a pay-per-view worthy card. I think it's more so they putting it pay-per-view because of Keith Thurman and Tim Tszyu, because Keith Thurman hasn't fought on a regular card since he fought
It's been a minute.
He hasn't fought on a regular card since before he fought
Porter
Danny.
Free TV?
Yeah, the last time I saw Keith Thurman on a free regular Showtime card was before he fought Danny Garcia.
So that was after or before Porter? I thought Porter was the free fight. I thought that was Channel 5 or something.
He fought the same guy that Tank fought, the Mexican guy that just fought
Barrios?
Yes.
That was pay-per-view.
That was pay-per-view? No way.
Yeah, that was pay-per-view. Yep.
That was the undercard of what?
That was Keith Thurman's first fight back after the 2-year layoff for the losing to Manny Pacquiao, and they put him on pay-per-view against Mario Barrios.
The Collazo fight wasn't pay-per-view, I tell you that much.
Yeah, I think
there's no way that was pay-per-view.
I think it was the last fight was before Danny Garcia was the last fight that he was on. He was on free TV.
Yeah, I don't know why I thought the Porter fight was free TV. I got to look that up. I'm just going off the top of my head. I didn't do no research. I thought that was a free TV fight.
He fought Danny Garcia, then he fought Sean Porter, then he fought Manny Pacquiao, and then he had a long layoff, and then he came back and fought Mario Barrios. Those were the last 4 fights.
Damn. So the Ryan Garcia, was that pay-per-view?
Yeah. Ryan Garcia and who?
And Thurman.
Ryan didn't fight Thurman.
I mean, not Ryan. Oh my God. Danny Garcia. Danny Garcia and Thurman. Damn, I'm getting my names all fucked up today.
Danny Garcia and Thurman was the first pay-per-view. Then it was Sean Porter and Thurman, and then it was Manny Pacquiao and Thurman, and then it was Mario Barrios and Thurman.
I thought that was free TV. I'm bugging then. Oh well. I'm looking it up now because I'm like, I could have sworn Keith Thurman fought on Channel 5.
You might have saw the replay on Channel 5.
I thought it was on it was on Fox. I mean you're an ass.
Might have been a replay.
He fought Josecito Lopez. Was that pay-per-view too?
No,
I think it was.
That wasn't. That was free.
That was before Pacquiao.
Yeah, that was before Pacquiao.
The Sean Porter fight was in the Barclays. That was before Garcia. That's what I thought. I was like, yeah, he fought Sean Porter before he fought Danny Garcia. I know I'm not crazy, but let me see what's that free TV.
He fought Sean Porter first, but that was pay-per-view. I know that was pay-per-view. I know Danny was pay-per-view, and Manny Pacquiao and Mario Barrio.
It doesn't say if it was pay-per-view because I went to BoxRec. It says Lou DiBella promotion. It was in the Barclays. It doesn't say. Latin America, Panama. What does that mean? Canal Space? Is that pay-per-view?
I'm about to say, just look up Keith Thurman's
Sean Porter. Because so far I'm half right because I knew it was before Garcia. I knew he fought Porter before Garcia, so I'm half right. But let me see where that fight was versus Sean Porter because I could have sworn that was. All right, was that pay-per-view? Okay, it has pay-per-view buys, so I guess it was pay-per-view. Does big ratings for Showtime? Hold on, let me see this. I got to see it because it's gonna kill me if I don't find it. With a 2.0 rating, big ratings for Showtime on CBS, but it doesn't say if it was pay-per-view. It could have been regular Showtime. I think it was regular Showtime. It wasn't pay-per-view. The overall 1.9 did the Errol because Errol Spence and Chris Algieri, that was on NBC.
That was.
So I don't think this was pay-per-view. I think it was regular Showtime.
Look up Keith Thurman pay-per-view.
Okay, let me look at that. Yeah.
Pay-per-view fights.
Keith Thurman pay-per-view fights. How many fights does Keith? No, we're not. Oh, come on, Keith Thurman. It doesn't say. This is not. All right, we'll look it up and we'll get back at you. But it didn't seem. I was reading the article
but
by Left Hook.
I know for sure that Mario Barrios pay-per-view because that was his first fight back.
No, that I know. That was definite. Yeah, but all right.
Yeah, that was definitely pay-per-view.
Okay. Let's continue. Let's go to another topic because we've been on for a minute. We're trying to do the hot topics in fights. So another big topic, another big story. Shakur Stevenson. Do you believe or do you not believe that he's really retiring from the sport of boxing?
That man is not retired. I think he came out and said he's not retired now.
Oh, he did. He did come back and say it.
Yeah,
I haven't seen anything yet. Yeah, Sock, have you seen anything?
I think he said something about. But see, the man told you that he wasn't retired when he said, "I'm gonna be still in the gym perfecting my craft."
Yeah.
Don't nobody perfect their craft if you retire. You retire, you just going to be in the gym helping other people out. Because he said, I'm going to still help the young guys on their career path or whatever. But he said, the first thing he said was, I'm going to still be in the gym perfecting my craft. Why are you perfecting your craft if you're retired? And then you didn't drop the WBC belt. You still got the WBC belt.
Yeah. He did what Teofimo did.
I think he's looking for attention.
The world of social media has changed everything.
I think he was just upset because they ordered that Navarrete fight for the WBO belt, and he wanted to fight Navarrete.
I think
Which
you're
is
right.
crazy because Navarrete moving up, like that's kind of a cherry pick, right? Or they called for it or?
Well, he's been calling out Navarrete for a minute. He wanted Navarrete back when he was at 130.
Yeah,
so
then he didn't want to fight
him. He wanted
Foster.
Navarrete and he wanted Oscar Valdez. Those are two fights that he wanted at 130, and he was able to get the Oscar Valdez, but he wasn't able to get the Navarrete fight.
He should have tried to get the Shockey Foster fight and unified.
Well, at that time, O'Shaquie Foster, I don't think he was the champion when he fought, or he might have been, but he could have fought O'Shaquie Foster a long time ago because O'Shaquie Foster was the number one contender for a minute, for like 3 years.
Yes. Yep. Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't believe it either, but I just wanted to hear your guys' take. I kind of knew your answer. I wanted to hear Sock's answer. I knew Sock was going to not believe him as well. It's kind of doing the same thing Teofimo did. It's the world of social media. These guys always on Twitter arguing, and you see it with him.
You saw what's going on now. Him and Ryan Garcia going back and forth.
Yeah, and Ryan Garcia is just who knows what's going on with Ryan Garcia because is he getting along with Oscar? Is he not? Like, that's just a bad relationship.
Now he has no choice but to get along with Oscar because he just snitched on Floyd, so he knows that is out the window.
He did. That is something wrong with that kid. It's really
he just snitched on Floyd, so that's out the window. So you have no choice but to get along with Oscar now because you can't go to the money team unless you just sign with PBC. But you sign with PBC, Floyd gonna have some input on what the hell goes on with you.
Yeah, it's gonna be worse. And he'll be probably more inactive.
Yeah, so
that's crazy.
Good point.
He has no choice but to be getting good with Oscar now. Go ahead and make the goddamn Devin Haney fight, and then after that fight, they're going Jose Ramirez.
Yeah, listen, the 135, 140, those fighters have the best fighters in all the divisions. Like as far as name fighters and really good fighters. I think 140 and 135. If you grouped up
135 and 140 they got the best competition right now.
I think they have the best competition or the best name fighters. I mean, we obviously know who the cream of the crop is right at the moment, but based on recent wins and victories and fights, which is we know Haney is one of the real deals. We know Tank is. We know Shakur. But we don't know who beats who because these guys are just not fighting each other. And it's just, it's annoying. I mean, all these other weight classes, it's not many. The competition is just not there. Or there's a bunch of fighters that are just not as well known as the 135 and 140 pound fighters.
Yeah, the best three divisions right now in all the sport of boxing. The best three divisions is 135, 140, and 154. Those are the best three divisions right now in all of boxing. They got the best competition. It's just a matter of those guys fighting each other. Now, 154, Jamel fought all those guys except for Tim Tszyu at 54. But Tim Tszyu was just now
make the argument
his way up there.
Respectfully, D, I'm gonna push back. I think 68 is better than 54.
Ain't really nobody there.
Well,
but they're not fighting each other.
Well, right, but we're not talking about that. We just talk about
who's the best. Yeah, the competition.
Canelo, Benavidez,
even Plant. Now I guess you could say Munguia, Charlo, David Morrell. Charlo's floating around with that weight.
I think it's really only three names at 68. Is David Benavidez, David Morrell, and Canelo. I don't even look at Charlo as a 68-pounder yet because he hasn't even fought at that weight.
So give me three names at 154 to match the three names at 168.
Just for argument's sake.
Yeah. Because that's a decent point. Because I have a different weight class that I want to bring up too that can have an argument. But we'll go with this one right now. At 154, besides who's at 154? Tim Tszyu, Charlo.
What's the motherfucking name?
you got Tim Tszyu, Charlo. You got Earl and Bud now.
But not technically yet. They haven't fought yet. They haven't signed to fight at 154.
They're not fighting at 47. They're not fighting.
No, I understand that, but they haven't had a fight at 154. So right now, we're kind of like.
Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, if they don't fight, Earl is fighting at 54, whether he's fighting Bud or not.
I do believe that.
Now, Jamel Charlo, he hasn't fought at 68. He said he's going to 68, but he still got the daggone WBC belt for 160.
Yeah. Which is a joke.
They dropped all their belts.
Yeah.
And Earl already said he's at 54. Whether he fights Bud or he don't, he's fighting at 54. But even if you take them out, you still got Tim Tszyu, you got Jamel, you got Brian Castano, you still got
who hasn't fought since Charlo, which is not good.
Yeah, he hasn't fought since Charlo.
Lubin is a good fighter.
You still got Lubin. You got Jesus Ramos.
Yes.
Who arguably won that fight against Lubin.
Yeah.
You got what's the other guy? Frendora, Brian Mendoza. Brian Mendoza, I don't look at him like that. He caught Frendora.
Yeah, I mean they got good fighters. That's true. I mean, yeah, but big names. So I mean, yeah, 154 division is pretty tough. It's just that we're not seeing the fights yet. I mean, you know, if Thurman messes this up and beats Zoo, even though he won't win the title, it's still it brings relevancy to that division, right? Because Zoo was very active last year. I had Zoo as the top 5 fighter for the year of 2023 because he fought 3 times, and he fought good competition. So
he didn't fought 3 times last year.
Yeah, Zoo fought 3 times. For Harrison, Ocampo, and Mendoza.
Oh damn! I'm
almost positive the Harrison was last year. I think it was early, unless it was at the end of 2022.
I remember Harrison. Yeah. I didn't remember Ocampo.
Yeah, he stopped Ocampo in like the first round, I think.
I didn't remember Ocampo. Yeah. I remember Harrison. I remember Brian Mendoza. I don't remember. Yeah. I didn't remember Ocampo.
Yeah. All 3 in Australia, though, I believe so. Yeah, that's going to be, he's been fighting in Australia, which, but this fight is in Vegas, right, with Thurman?
He said he's not fighting in Australia no more. He said he's fighting in the States.
That's good. That's good.
That's why it's in Vegas, because he said he's not fighting in Australia no more.
That's good. That's good to hear. That's what we need. I think I like Zoo. I mean, I picked in the beginning before when Charlo beat Castano, I picked Charlo to beat Zoo, but I don't think I can pick Charlo to beat Zoo now. I think Zoo has been fighting. He's been active. I kind of like Zoo. He's
I don't know. I can't look at what Charlo did against Canelo and say, okay, he ain't beating nobody at 54 because Canelo is much bigger. That was 2 weight classes above, and I think Tim Tszyu will look the same way if he fought Canelo, except for I think Tim Tszyu might end up getting stopped if he fought Canelo, because Tim Tszyu gonna try to hit Canelo and he gonna get caught with something his damn self. So I don't know if I
agree with that. Yeah, what's up?
I don't know if I would pick Tim Tszyu to beat Charlo. Like if they say, okay, this fight is happening after this fight, I don't know if I pick Tim Tszyu to beat Charlo. I would have to see how Tim Tszyu look against Keith Thurman before I could say, okay, you know what, Tim Tszyu might have a shot to beat Charlo. Because if he go in and he looks bad against Keith Thurman, like Keith Thurman actually outboxed him, but he happened to catch Keith Thurman with a big shot, I'm gonna be like, I don't know if he beats Charlo.
Yeah, that's fair. I think that's fair. But I think we need to see Charlo in the ring too. Sorry, what was that, Sock?
It's a good measuring stick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I don't think Keith Thurman's going to go in there and lay down. I think he's going to put up a fight. I'm picking Tszyu to win, and I'm picking Tszyu to win late. I think Thurman will have his moments early on, but I think Tszyu will. I think Tszyu's going to stop him.
I don't think he's going to stop him.
No,
I don't think he's going to stop him.
Yeah,
I think Keith Thurman is that much of a veteran that he knows how to survive. I don't think he's going to stop him. Like, Keith Thurman probably will literally get on his goddamn bike and run like he did against Mario Barrio and not get caught. Like, Tim Tszyu will have to chase him around the ring, and hopefully he can catch him with another big shot.
Yeah. And you know what?
I think he might win on the cards though, yeah. But I don't know if he's going to stop Keith Thurman. Now,
that's fair because he could,
yeah. But I just don't know.
No, and you're right. You bring another good point. This is why we have you on, because that's fair. Because we've seen Thurman hurt before in a few fights, and he knew how to held on and and compose himself and get back in. And so that's very fair. You're right about that. It's not going to be an easy knockout. This is what I feel may happen. But yeah, that's an excellent point.
Yeah, like I said, he could. I just don't see it happen because the only time we ever seen Keith Thurman down was a flash knockdown against Manny Pacquiao. And then a lot of people thought that he came on in the second half of that fight with Manny Pacquiao. So
yeah,
I don't know if he gets stopped. Now, like I said, he very well could because Tim Tszyu do have power. He very well could stop Keith Thurman. And Keith Thurman has been out of the ring for 2 years once again. So he very well could. I just know Keith Thurman is a seasoned veteran, and he knows how to survive when he needs to.
Yeah. All right.
But I do got Tim Tszyu. I do got Tim Tszyu winning that fight.
Yeah,
I do got him winning that fight.
Yeah, but that's a very fair point, and that's a good analysis because it is true. We've seen Thurman. Thurman is a veteran, and he knows how to, he's been hurt before, and he knows, he's come back.
That man got hurt badly against Josito Lopez.
Yeah, he got the Collazo one. The first time we seen him hurt was Collazo to the body.
Yeah.
And that was a weird ending because the next round, Collazo quit. That was the weirdest turnaround I've ever seen in a fight. But
yeah,
the other big story in the boxing news happened today.
Yep.
Which, Tyson Fury getting cut. He took an elbow from I'm a butcher his name. Opatai. Am I saying his name right? Jai.
The cruiserweight.
Yeah, it was him. It was an elbow.
That's what he get. That's exactly what he get. You should not have been in there with that damn cruiserweight. That nigga is vicious.
And it was an elbow. There's tape, and it looks like an elbow. It's just weird because he's got the headgear on. He must have caught him perfect, but it was an elbow. And then apparently it was reported today, but apparently because Tate Jones has all the scoops. I messaged Tate Jones on Twitter. He said it happened a couple of days ago, and they kicked him out of camp. So supposedly he was giving Fury the business in sparring as well.
They said that he been whooping Fury. I didn't know who they was talking about, but they said Fury's been getting his ass whooped in sparring, but I didn't know who they was talking about. I didn't know it was Ja. Ja is a monster. He's a monster.
Johnny Nelson, the former British pro that works for Sky TV, has said the same thing. He said that Fury had looked really shaky.
Like he might be the only man that I see that's not a heavyweight that probably can beat Arthur. He might be the only man. And I like David Morrell.
He's bigger than Arthur.
I know. That's why I said he might be the only man. And I like David Morrell, but I don't think David Morrell beats Arthur. I think Arthur walks him down and eventually stops him. But Ja might be the only man that can beat Arthur.
He's a monster. He's vicious. I mean, he had one tough fight with the guy that fought Usyk. That's the guy that wants the rematch, right? That was the whole big thing. But I know the guy fought Usyk. He fought Usyk in a close fight too, and it was at cruiserweight. I can't remember. Is it Breedis? Is it Breedis?
German.
Yeah, I think it was.
Yeah, it was Breedis. Yeah, it was a tough fight, and he wants to. But that was a split decision win. I think he got something. It was a close fight. But he's good. He's they've been talking about him. Apparently, but
I don't know what they got in. I don't know what they got in Australia, but they putting out some punches in Australia outside of Cambosis. They put out some punches in Australia.
They got some warriors out of there. I mean, one of my favorites, he wasn't really all that good, was Casides. I thought he was pretty good. I liked him. I liked his style.
You got
he was a lightweight. I believe he was a lightweight.
Tim Tszyu, father Costa Tszyu.
Obviously, he was a monster.
He was an animal. And then you got Tim Tszyu. Now you got Ja.
Jeff Finnick.
But
Chad Finnick.
Cambosis and Horn outside of them two. Everybody else that I've seen that come from Australia, they've been some monsters outside of those two guys.
Did you forget? Sock said Finnick. You don't remember him?
Who?
Finnick.
Jeff Finnick.
He was.
He was
solid, Yeah, they had some good fight. I like Casides. Because that was a good era. Those lightweight. He was a lightweight, I believe, and he fought some good fights. I believe he fought Casamayor, I think, right? And he fought he fought Juan Diaz as well. He had some good fights.
Yeah, you're right.
D-Free Abdul D-Free salute. I wanted you to see that, take notice before I took it off. I thought that was funny. But yeah, so I mean, every time we mention Fury, I know Sock is always against me on this, but he's a funny guy. I can never believe anything happened, but it seems legit.
I
Even though the phone recording looked like it was from like a Nokia. Somebody wrote that too in the Twitter feed. Looks like a Nokia. It's a really crazy video, but it looks legit. And he came down with the elbow. I just questioned the placement of the elbow because, he's shorter than Fury, and it just came up, and he's got the headgear, and it's not the same. It's not the same cut that. Is it the same cut?
That fight was happening until they got in the ring.
Yeah, but is it the same cut that he got against Ngannou? I can't remember what eye it was because he got cut.
Did he get cut against Ngannou?
Yeah, he got cut in that fight. But I don't think it was as severe as the one.
It might be the same eye then.
Look,
he might have just opened it up.
Yeah. Sock, do you know if that was the same eye?
That Ngannou fight wasn't that long ago, so he might have just opened that cut back up.
Unless I don't know if it was the same eye. I can't remember. I think it was the other eye because the picture shows it was this side, and I think Ngannou hit him with a right to his left side. So I don't know.
If you don't want to give Fury the benefit of the doubt, I can't blame you. I mean, Tyson Fury has come up with excuses and postponements, so he deserves whatever he gets, whatever criticism he gets. Obviously, the cut looked legit.
Yeah,
he posted the picture. I saw a story from a website which I think was BS that they would consider bringing in the Croatian. Yeah, I mean that's nuts.
That's too short notice.
Short notice, and it makes absolutely zero sense. Are they going to pay him the same bag as fighting Fury? I mean, unless what's the title they give the guy from Saudi Arabia, Your Highness?
So, who's supposed to be? They said something about daggone Herkovich might be getting there with Usyk now that Tyson is out.
Yeah, that's what he's saying. Yeah,
that's crazy. There's no way he's going to get the same bag. Look, I mean, they postponed it. I guess the fight will happen. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a doctor, although I stayed at a Holiday Inn, March, April, May. Maybe it happens in June, late June, right? Because
it's got to be another 3 months or so.
3 months, maybe July.
I feel like this. If Usyk does get the Herkovich fight, if Usyk does get the Herkovich fight, Usyk's going to beat the snot out of Herkovich.
Yeah, I think so too.
I've never been sold on Herkovich. From the first time I saw him fight, I heard everybody say, "Hey, he's a big puncher. He's this, he that." Every first fight that I seen him in was against Big Bang Zhang, and Big Bang Zhang beat the snot out of Herkovich, and they robbed Zhang out of that fight. They robbed Zhang out of that fight.
Is that so we can say it. He fucked him.
Yeah.
No Vaseline.
Hey. Yeah, but it definitely, I thought Zhang won that fight. It was a close fight, though. I mean, I don't know, beat the snot out of him, but he beat him. I mean, it was. I thought it was a clear win.
No, he had Herkovich holding on for dear life.
Yeah. And Zhang was talking shit. I mean, not Zhang, it was Herkovich. He said that he wasn't his best. He said at his best.
And matter of fact, Herkovich got dropped in that fight, and they called it a slip. He got caught with a shot on the chin, and he went down. They called it a slip.
That's correct.
Yeah.
He got caught right on the chin, and he went down. They called that shit a slip. I'm like, oh, they about to rob this man. They about to rob him.
And that's exactly what they did. That's crazy. But yeah, man, just wanted to go over the fights this weekend. We had a good start. We had a good interview with Ricardo. He manages a bunch of fighters. He's good. We're going to try to touch base with him. I wanted to recap the NFC, AFC championship games, which one of them was a complete joke. Dan Campbell should just retire and just quit as a head coach. He literally, gift wrapped the Super Bowl for the 49ers. I just don't understand the play calling. So I said I just wanted to go back to football real quick and talk about the AFC, NFC championship games before we say goodnight. And I just want to talk about how Dan Campbell literally gift wrapped the Super Bowl for the San Francisco 49ers.
And what I saw in that game, Dan Campbell made some boneheaded calls. he left 9 points on the field. Those 9 points would have won them the game. He left 9 points on the field. But I also saw something in that game that I said, okay, you know what? I'm not mad that Ben Johnson is staying in Detroit because he didn't have any adjustments that he made. He didn't make any adjustments in the game. When the 49er defense started coming on, he didn't make any adjustments. He kept going to the same plays over and over again. And I'm like, oh, they kicking your ass with them damn plays.
Yeah. Well, after he went for it on 4th down the first time, I think it was the first time in the third quarter. Yeah, he didn't make adjustment because the 4th down play, to his credit, was there. The receiver dropped the ball, like it was there. He had it should have been a first down, but it was still the wrong decision to make. You're up 14. You just held San Francisco to 3 points after being up 17, so they cut it to 14. You stopped them from getting in the end zone, which was huge in the third quarter. And you go down and like nothing. You're in field goal range, 4th and 2. First of all, it was 3rd and 5, and they ran a draw play with St. Brown. That was the first bad play call. It was third, so like he had the intentions of going for a 4th down, but he ran a draw play with your wide receiver, a draw play, not a reverse. He was lined up in the backfield. They ran a draw play, and he got 3 yards, 4th and 2. Then you decide to go for it and not take the 3 points to make it a 3-score game to eliminate the 3 points that San Francisco just scored. That was terrible, and that was a 10-point swing. I would have been better off with them going for the field goal and missing than them going for it as they did and then letting San Francisco score a touchdown. That's 10-point swing right there.
I'm trying to figure out was there something wrong with the field goal kicker that we didn't know about? Because I'm like, y'all within 20 yards of the field goal. Why are y'all not kicking a field goal?
And this is why I said revert back to the week before, where the coach didn't have any faith in his kicker, but yet you had 3 timeouts and you didn't call a timeout on 3rd down, and you don't call a timeout on 3rd down after your quarterback spots the blitz, went to call an audible. Why not call a timeout in that position? Instead, no, you go with the play. You see they're playing cover 0, coming to blitz. They don't get it, and then you don't have faith in your kicker, and you try to field goal. Like it's just everything is lined up for San Francisco to win, and it's just frustrating as hell as a guy that hates the team and hates their fan base. And now they're going to play a Kansas City team that's played well defensively, but in the cold weather, and it's going to be nice and warm and beautiful stadium, beautiful field conditions, and I just think the Niners are going to beat the Chiefs.
I was so disappointed in the Ravens. I was like, hold up, y'all play well all the way up until this point, and y'all come out in this game and have no enthusiasm at all. Like it started off in pregame when Travis Kelce came over there and threw the daggone field goal kicker helmet and all that stuff to the side. I'm like, no, y'all supposed to be fighting right there. That's when y'all supposed to be fighting. Yeah. I'm like, y'all letting this man come on y'all field and just punk all of y'all. He's punking all of y'all. I think
the game plan was all wrong for Baltimore. I believe the coaching has to take the blame for this loss. They didn't do what got them there. And Lamar has to take credit for this loss too. He was trying to make plays with his arm and not with his legs when he should have made plays with legs because he had protection at times, and he was trying to make the deep throws. And
I said that like 4 times. I was like, Lamar got to be Lamar. I said in order for them to win this game, he got to be Lamar because right now Kansas City is kicking their ass. He got to be Lamar. You got to let that man just take off whenever he see the opening because right now it ain't working.
Yeah, because the Baltimore defense played well. Except Kelce had a good first half or first quarter, but they contained them, which is what a good defense does. They only gave us 17 points. So
I mean, 17-10. You holding Kansas City to 17 points, which that's what your defense been doing damn near the whole year.
Yep.
You should have won that game.
Yep.
You should have easily put up 20 points.
Absolutely. So, I mean, it's funny because in the past, like at least during our era when we were younger, we've seen a lot of Super Bowl blowouts, but the best games has always been the championship games usually. And we had 2 good championship games, but badly coached and just badly played. Like,
I think Kansas City going to win the game.
I hope so.
I saw something from the 49ers that I haven't seen all year, and I was like, Kansas City is going to eat that shit up. Dog, I have never in my life seen David Montgomery run as much as he did. He was running all over San Fran.
Yeah.
And Pacheco, that man is a hell of a running back. And he wasn't the starter at the beginning of the year, but he took that role and they never looked back. That man.
Well, it was last year. Last year he took over. He was the start.
Last year.
Yeah, he started this year. Yeah.
And
but that's the thing with Kansas City. They don't run the ball enough. That's what kind of gets me on my nerves.
They did in that championship game.
Yeah.
I think he had over 100 yards rushing.
Yeah. Sock, you want to talk about it? I know you hate Kansas City as well. So this is a tough spot for you.
I hate Kansas City and I hate San Francisco equally. I mean, I think you bring up a good point. I mean, I think the good weather and the bye week helps San Fran because Deebo Samuel gets the rest. And obviously, he's a big factor. I mean, the best player on the field is Mahomes. And it's without a doubt.
Yeah.
That Kansas City defense
he did.
Good.
He did, old school.
Yeah, it was earlier today. I was going to wait till Sock finish, but yeah, he passed away earlier today.
Man. An icon.
Yeah.
Carl Weathers, I mean, that came out of the blue.
The perfect guy to play Apollo Creed. Nobody else could have played Apollo Creed better than him. Absolutely not.
An athlete.
Yep.
Former Raider.
Right.
A guy that had a really good career. I mean,
you know what? How the hell Apollo Creed didn't make it into the Hall of Fame, but Rocky did?
Because Rocky wrote the script, I guess.
I guess.
Rocky made it to the Hall of Fame. Rocky got his ass whooped. Every goddamn joint, he got his ass whooped.
May we get Carl Weathers in the PGA because he helped Happy Gilmore.
I just thought about we only saw Apollo Creed. We only saw Apollo Creed lose 2 times.
Right.
Well, yeah, and technically, the one was exhibition.
Yeah, one
because
was exhibition.
The fight that he lost to Drago was an exhibition.
Yeah, that's the only. We only saw him lose twice. We saw Rocky lose 6 times.
That intro was crazy though. Rocky IV intro was crazy with James Brown.
Yeah, that was man. That Rocky IV was like one of the best movies and had the best soundtracks also.
It did have the best soundtrack. The
best soundtrack was Rocky IV for a long time. I don't know if anybody's topped it. Yeah, but Carl Weathers.
I haven't paid attention to soundtrack since New Jack City.
New Jack City soundtrack. That was pretty good.
That's
you didn't like Rocky IV soundtrack? You didn't like Eye of the Tiger?
I haven't paid attention to him.
Juice was great too.
Juice was a good one too. Yeah. I had a friend that was in that movie.
Really?
I haven't paid attention to soundtracks in a minute.
Yeah, I got a friend that was in Juice. She was at the end. She was in the elevator when Tupac was trying to shoot this guy. She was in there, and then she was on the roof after when the guy said, "Yeah, you got the juice now." She was there. My girl, Asia. Yeah, she was
above the rim. Above the rim.
Omar Epps, yeah. But
Epps,
yeah, I had a friend of mine, a girl. She was in that movie. She was like, you could see her like twice in the movie, in the last scene. So shout out to my homegirl Asia.
He was the one that said, "You got the juice."
No. When the guy said it, you see her afterwards, like when he's walking back, like to the stairs.
Oh,
after they're on the balcony. You see all the people outside that watch, and she was there. So you see her, and then she was in the elevator. Because remember, they were in the elevator, and like they had to kind of like chill, because like Tupac had the gun, and then and then he went to go shoot. He was like, "What you gonna do now?" Right? That's what he said. What you gonna do now? And then he went to take out the gun, and they was like, they started screaming. And he ran out the elevator. So,
she was an extra.
She was an extra, yeah. But she's been in a lot of films with a friend of mine, yeah. So I was like, oh shit, that was you. Obviously, I didn't know her when I first seen the movie, but she worked in the last job I was at, and I'm still friends with her today. I spoke to her like last week. I was helping her with a script because she still does acting and stuff. And I remember when I worked at the art, she's like, yeah, I was in Juice, and then I rewatched. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Shout out to my homegirl Asia. Yeah. So yeah, guys. I mean, I think I'm gonna wrap it up. We were on for a minute. Just to let everybody know, with Soc's blessing, but I think we've already been in talks with a couple people. Next week we will be on next Friday, so we'll recap the Teofimo fight, which is Thursday. We are looking to have Alfacio on, Alfacio Falcone. He fights the following week, the 16th. At the Garden. So we're looking to have Alfacio. I believe you said somebody else also, Soc. I don't know.
As far as the 16th goes, I mean, Alfacio's on that card. There's a few guests. Andre Rozier from
yeah. I don't know if
boxing.
Yeah.
I would trained, also like
he trained a bunch. He trained Stark. Right? He trained Stark. He trained Jacobs.
Danny Jacobs.
Yeah.
Edgar Berlanga for a little while. Curtis Stevens. He's been around.
Yeah.
Good guy, Andre. I would like to get a friend of mine, Angel Alejandro, AA Boxing, who has done a lot of outfits for. He actually did for the first Creed movie. He did the outfits for in the Creed movie.
Okay.
He does outfits for Amanda Serrano, Big Baby Miller, and a few other fighters. We have people to reach out to. Sometimes it's just a matter of timing, but that's what this show's about. We're gonna pop our guest. It'll be a good surprise. I'm trying to think who else is on the docket.
I have a guy I spoke to, and we're looking to get Omar Trinidad. He just fought this past weekend. He's out in LA. He's a real good fighter. We saw him in November. He was in the undercard of the Maelo Walsh fight, and he stopped this guy badly. And he's a really good fighter, man. He fights at 126. He just won an intercontinental title out there in the West Coast, I guess, because those are regional. He's good, man. I like him, man. He comes to fight. He's not gonna try to outbox you, but he's gonna outwill you. And I like him. He's got charisma and everything. So he's looking to join us. I just got to get a date for him. Obviously we're gonna see. We speak with Ricardo again. He said he might, we might go see Chevalier. I can't say his name. So we may see him live in person and maybe have him, on. And hopefully maybe, if Pete Dobson wins tomorrow, he's going to be a hot commodity. I mean, we got to, we try to get him back on after win. Hopefully he gets the win. That'll be a great look, and we can help him. That's this is a big fight for him, like career wise. So, so we got some things lined up. I feel like we're forgetting another person, but day by day. I know we got something planned for March. We're looking to do something for March. March Madness.
Yes, trying to maybe get some ex hoopers on the card.
Yeah,
in the show. So because we already
so
sports show.
Yeah. So we got a few things, and then our guy on fire. I know he watches. Like he's been doing some work too. We're gonna meet up with him in a couple weeks. He wants to kind of collab and do some things as well. So I mean,
Shushu be on.
Shushu would try to get Shushu in person. That'll be great, right? So Shushu. So hopefully after his fight in the 16th. So I mean, we only come on once a week. We're trying, we're trying to get some people up here that are in the business that could give some some good stuff, drop some good gems. I mean, it's always good for us to talk our shit and have our opinions, but it's always good to listen to the real people in the business. So we're trying to entertain you guys as best as we can. So yeah. So and then I also, another thing I have in mind, I want to promote other channels as well on things that they do. Stay tuned for that because I try to I'm in other channels in the chat, and I want to be more active as far as to help grow this channel and help grow theirs. I'm all about helping everybody, you know what I'm saying? So, and just bring that, kind of share the wealth. Let's sort of say so. So stay tuned for that. We're looking to do, bigger and better things. Maybe add another day to the week. Soc's a busy man, but me and D3, we have a little bit more time. So, so yeah, guys. So if any of you guys don't have any last words, drop your last words, and then we out of here.
Nah, I appreciate y'all having me up as always, man. It's been a good one. Y'all had a good interview. I enjoyed it. A lot of insight that I could take away from it that I didn't know from before. But a great interview.
Thank you.
Thank you. So
thank you.
And Sock, thank you for hooking us up with the talent.
And you're not too far from WrestleMania. Let's see if we can get The Rock on.
Yeah, that'll be great. Look at my wife clapping over there. She loves The Rock. She marked out when The Rock came because when Cody made the announcement, like he was like, "But I know somebody knows you well." I said, "Lisa, come on, The Rock's coming out." And then if you smell, she marked out. So yeah, but I don't know if we can get The Rock. That'll be major, but I don't think it's
YouTube.
Yeah, we can get Devon. I know we could get Devon Dudley up in here. We know a guy that knows Devon personally. I don't know. You know Devon Dudley? D3?
Oh, I know Devon. I used to work with a guy that went to school with Devon.
Okay, yeah, because you was out here in New York too. Yeah, he's out in New York show.
I used to work. He was my store manager. I was the assistant manager. We worked at Starbucks. I was the assistant manager. Okay. He was the store manager, and he went to school with Devon. He know them personally.
Funny story. I don't know if Sock remembers this. He probably does. But Sock cut him off on the highway one time. We was on our way to a Met game. You remember when you cut off Devon?
Yes, I did. Wow, that's a good memory.
That was like in 2001 or 2000. He was still wrestling, obviously. But I remember we was going to the Mets game because I had a bunch of tickets. I think I had a bunch of tickets that they gave me at the Arch, and we all went to the Mets game. And he's like, and then we cut Devon, and then it was, I don't know who was in the car. It was me and you. I think Brett was in the car, and we all started chatting ECW. Some marks. But yeah, we could. I think we could get Devon if we get our boy Jay Flex. I don't want to say he don't like people say, but our boy Flex, who used to wrestle. But,
you get The Rock on here, and you're gonna have about 1 million views on Instagram on YouTube.
Shit, I don't think that's happening. I mean, Devon, we could, and then maybe we do a wrestling show because I know DP Rocker. He told me to let him know we do wrestling. I'll definitely have DP on. He likes wrestling, and a couple other guys. So
I haven't watched wrestling. I don't know how long. I can't even keep up with it right now. I would have to literally watch it every day for every week for like a month in order for me to keep up with it.
Yeah, it's a little better now. I mean, I watched, it is what it is. But all right, guys.
Last time I watched it was what, 2005, 2006 when I went to Monday Night Raw in Philly. That's the last time I watched it.
And now it's WrestleMania's in Philly.
Yeah,
look at that. That's a WrestleMania in Philadelphia. And The Rock is going to be the headliner at WrestleMania. That's crazy. So, all right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys. We'll be in touch. We'll always be talking. But it's time to say goodnight because I'm tired. I haven't been sleeping. Hopefully my wife lets me sleep tonight. Well, thanks, Lisa. All right, guys.
All
right, guys. Have a good night.
right. Peace.